please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It's a free way for you to support the channel, and for me, it might bring in some money from all the commercials they keep putting on my videos. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon or Ko-fi. I've got links in the description, or you can hit the Money Heart Thanks button down below. Now, let's get back to it. Hey guys, this is the Sword and the Pen Reflections, doing a live stream, obviously. I wanted to talk about The Last of Us because I've had a lot of requests to watch and review the games, and I've been looking into, how I can do that because I don't know how to play video games. I mean, I know how, but you would not want to watch me play a video game because it would be the slowest, most agonizing thing you've ever watched in your life. I'd just be running into a wall over and over again. But I want to make sure that I watch the right version because I've been getting multiple version stories, people telling me that there's a bunch of different ones that I could end up watching, and I want to make sure I watch whichever is going to be the best, but also not, like 15 hours long. Then I also want to talk about if I should do game 1 and then game 2 or just game 2. So, and then if I do game 1, should I even talk about the show? Like the first season was okay. I've already done a review of it on The Right Advice that is in the description of every Last of Us video. Well, not the shorts, but the full length ones that I have. You can see where I was with my friend Randy and his daughter Lucy, and we critiqued the show, season 1. But should I do that again? I've got other stuff I really want to move on to. I've been really enjoying Murderbot. And I'd love to do, I actually have a video for Severance that I've already recorded. Would love to do that. I've also got a video for, Foundation. And I obviously want to get my Wheel of Time videos up. I have 2 unedited that I have already, I've started working on one of them, but I've already filmed them. But I'm thinking I might go back since the show is canceled and reshoot them so that they're shorter, because they're so long and it takes me forever to edit them. It'll just be forever before they come out. But anyway, that's it. Let me get to some comments now real quick and see what people are saying. I'm not going to read them all. But let's see, since I've been on here, so I'll jump to 5 o'clock. I want to stay on top of this. Here we go. 5 o'clock, people who are talking. Goat Jesus. Joel's character is so much more vulnerable and willing to be open about his feelings to Tommy and Ellie earlier. The entire point of The Last of Us 1 is that he refuses to face the past. Okay, I gotta agree with that. I mean, at least from what I saw in season 1. But then what did they do with him in season 2? It doesn't seem like he made a whole lot of progress until we got to that flashback episode. And then he just kind of went back into his shell. So anyway. Pharaoh G, season 1 was excellent for me, but season 2 is travesty. Ouch. Goat Jesus says, so when he's crying to Tommy in season 1, I think that kind of defeats the point a bit. You guys must be having an ongoing conversation about this. Zensonar, it's suffered from a lack of infected too. Yeah, there were hardly any zombies. There was the big zombie war. Well, obviously there was the single kill when she and Dina went into that building and like, oh, let's knife them. And then we had the big zombie war, and then we had the subway station. That's it. 2 encounters. That's it. That's not enough, I think. I had that complaint about season 1, by the way. I just didn't know that it was going to be a character drama, that this was more about people and how they're surviving and, their different dramas. So after I realized that, I was more okay with it. But this is a zombie apocalypse movie. They should at least have some awareness that there are zombies out there and that they are the reason why humanity is not thriving. Goat Jesus says, but overall, it has similar plot beats. You guys got to be talking about something else. Xenosonar says, or Zinsonar says, yeah, it hit most of the story beats, but failed to capture the spirit of the characters. That's kind of what I've been hearing. All right, I'm going to skip a few here. Ed Legends, they don't feel relevant anymore. The infected, yeah, they really aren't. They just aren't. They're nothing matters except for Ellie's drama, unfortunately. Pharaoh G, I think they made Joel more emotional to feel like they're getting their money's worth with Pedro. I don't know. That's an assumption. Goat Jesus. What I liked about the game more was the series. More than the series is that each character represents a part of Joel that isn't great as a parenting skill. Bill, distrust. Sam, authoritarian parenting. David, manipulative. Oh, I didn't notice that before. I have to think that. How is distrust a part of Joel that isn't great as a parenting skill? I mean, distrust isn't really, is that even a bad parenting skill? Like, I mean, that's just a human attribute is distrust. All right. Yo, Jesus. Like each segment actually mirrors Joel in some kind of way. I'm sure that there's a lot of thought put into at least season 1. I watched the first like 10 minutes or something of the game, the first game, and I was like, this has obviously been very well edited in the story room or the writing room before they put it on screen, because it was so much better. It's very concise. I have a very high respect for storytelling and animation because it is so concise. It takes so long to produce even just a minute of what the audience sees on screen. They are going to edit the crap out of their script, making sure that it's only doing exactly what it needs to do and no more. So it's very efficient, very effective, and I just like it. If you want to study good storytelling, you're probably going to find more examples of it in animation. All right, go Jesus. I got to skip a couple of you because there's a bunch here. Silence Game. Hi, beautiful me. No. Vegan Druid. Oh, hello. Hello. As Robin Williams is famous for. Zensonar. In putting everything on the surface and being too on the nose with the exposition. Yeah. We lost much of the subtext and subtlety that made the game so great. Hard agree. So Danny Young says I should do 1 and then 2. Are you talking about the games? Noble Phoenix says yes, game 1, then game 2. I think that's how I would prefer to do it. I like to take things in order. Joshua Fears, hey, how's it going? Says you should absolutely do the first game, then the second. Okay. Here's somebody who disagrees with you guys. Kiltmanitator. Yeah, 1 for skipping and at least 3 for please watch the both of them. Richard Jeffries, are you talking about doing a playthrough or a watch a playthrough? You might have just jumped in here, but it's the very beginning of this. I let you guys know that I'm really bad at video games. I mean, I'm not even just bad, I just don't play them. My family did not own a video game console until after I was already in college. So I was already living out of the household when my family unit got a video game console, and then I never played. So, I mean, I think is it called Fable? I spent maybe 2 hours creating a character, actually creating a couple of characters on Fable, and then I was like, that's it, I'm done. I walked away. But I just watching those first few minutes of game 1 for The Last of Us, it looks really interesting. Like I could see myself getting into this game. David Hamilton just came to, the show was pretty faithful. Okay, good to know. Angel Spawn, game 1 and 2. We're getting a lot of those ones. The first game is fantastic. I can tell just from those first few minutes. You can usually tell a lot about a story just by the hook. We get up to the hook, and if it's been led in well, like efficiently, and you're really engaged from the very beginning, then you're probably in for some good storytelling. Apollo Valian. Jimmy, okay. Thanks for that. Did Lucy like season 2? I have no idea, actually. Let's see. I haven't spoken to her. I've not spoken to her in like a year. Actually, yeah, it's been a while. So I'd have to double check with Randy and see what she thought of season 2. Actually, I'm going to be on a Hogcast. That is on Geeky Old Hogs channel. It'll be in 2 Fridays, which means you guys will probably get it on the following Sunday. So we're doing it Friday the 20th, and then you guys will see it on the following Sunday. Wow, I'm having trouble talking. I'm very tired. I did not sleep well the last 2 nights in a row, so it happens. It's weird. We finally got air conditioning at my house. It's like 107 outside right now, but we've been using swamp coolers for the last... Now, is it 2 weeks or 1 week? Either way, it's been a while. And I just got used to it being very hot. And then we finally got the air conditioning fixed like 2 days ago. And now I can't sleep. So I don't know. Spaced Oyster says, it might be neat to go over the first game as well as the second. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right, I'm going to skip a few here. Ed Legends. In both cases, the games are better than the show. Not perfect, but better. Okay. Got some other people saying just game two. Now we got some more saying game one, then two. Oh my goodness. All right. Yep. Game one, then two. This is absolutely the most complete and well-placed video to watch the second. Oh, thank you for posting that. Here, let me put up this banner that I made earlier. But there we go. If you have one, please post a link to good cuts of the game. Now my Discord has posted 2 in my Discord, and that is what I have watched so far. Not all of them. I just, like I said, the first like 10 or 15 minutes, I think, of game one. It was up till the credits. I stopped at the credits. I was like, yes, I remember that first episode of HBO being like really good. And it was good. The game was great. I really enjoyed it. Dark Crow Gaming. Look into how Amy Hennig and Bruce Straley were kicked out of Naughty Dog because of Neil Druckmann. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. I keep getting all kinds of stories about behind the scenes stuff or things that I don't know if it's assumption or people have actually picked up on, or not picked up on, but heard him say this, that Neil Druckmann was intentionally trying to make people hate Joel and Ellie and stuff like that. And I'm going, where do you hear this? Is this just what the consensus is from the audience because of how Ellie was so obviously written to be unlikable? Like, there's no way people wrote that thinking this is likable. People will side with her. Like, I was not on her side from literally the first 5 minutes of her being on screen. She was an enemy. So to me, it feels like that was very deliberate. But I do want to know where people are getting that. Is it an impression? Is it a fact that they are repeating information they've heard Neil Druckmann say? I don't know. Maybe that'll wake me up a little bit. Let's see. Burger Time is talking to somebody else, not me. Silence Game says, I'm Abby's side. I'm on Abby's side too at this point. Noble Phoenix, Joel was never needy in the game like he is in the show. It's funny because I didn't see him being particularly needy in season 1. I don't recall, but it's been a while. It's been, what, 2 years since I saw season 1? Maybe I'll think differently if I go back and watch it. Silence Game. You know, it's funny how your perspective on something changes when you have something to reference and compare it to. So I cannot understand how anybody liked HBO's season 2. I can't, and I'm going, if this is at all what the game is like, I don't understand how anybody would like the game. It's very, it seems to be written destroying the characters from season 1. So why would anybody want to watch that? That would be like, okay, the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, how about we're just going to follow him around for a while? Nobody wants to do that. He wasn't Luke anymore at that point. You really can't have your characters developing off screen or off page that much. You know why Maverick was such a huge hit? It's because he was still the same guy. Yeah, he was older, but he really did not change at all. And he was still the badass. He didn't have like all these youngsters and going like, wow, they're so good. You know, and I'm old and retired and I have to step aside. No, he was still impressing all of them. And we loved to see that because the character we loved before was still the same guy. We weren't being told he wasn't really that great. It's, you know, just that was then and now is now. He really was great. So that's an honor of you're honoring the character when you do that. Okay, I have lost my place. I don't know where we are. I think I'm just going to jump in. Okay, I'm just going to jump in somewhere because I have lost my place. Oh yeah, there we go. We've got it back. We're back. I figured out where we are. Laura RL. For me, the biggest failure was Ellie's personality. In the game, she's mature. In the TV show, she's a brat. Yeah, I mean, how do you do this? I don't understand how anybody could think that is likable. And at least she was, well, she was kind of balanced in season 1. And I think I explained it at the beginning of my first episode review for season 2 was that I thought she was going to be the person that she was towards the end of season 1. I was like, okay, after the cannibals, she seemed to be a lot more likable. She was more tame. She was opening up with with Joel a little bit. I thought we were going to see more of that because it's typically how character development works, is they cross the threshold and then they're still kind of the same person they were before, but they're on that other side of the threshold. So it's not like you can't go back a little bit, but she just flat out not only went back, but she went back even further. It just made no sense. She just went into the most obnoxious things that she did in season 1 were like the least offensive things that she did in season 2, if I was going to compare. All right, Vegan Druid. In the game, part 2, the action gameplay with the zombies and people is what really takes up a majority of the game, but it helps encapsulate Ellie's descent into her revenge madness killing spree. Yeah, so I know that there's cutscenes and stuff, but then it does seem that people have been telling me there are things that are in the gameplay bits where there's dialogue and stuff like that I might need to know. So I don't want to miss out on that stuff. And then I just get a million comments of people telling me, oh, you didn't watch the right version. And I'm like, I did my best. I just didn't want to watch 108 hours of video game. Let's see. Richard Jeffries. I don't get that, Goat. How did Bill represent anything about Joel? I think when he said distrust about Bill, he's talking about how Bill was, well, obviously distrustful in the beginning of Frank. He didn't want to open up to him, but then he did really quickly, didn't he? But then even afterwards, it was kind of like a, no, I'm in charge and I don't understand you. I don't know if distrust was really his biggest feature, except that when Joel and Tess came to visit him, he distrusted them. But even at the end of that, he opened up to Joel there, like, hey, you take care of Frank if I ever die. The infected are a constant background threat in the games. They were out there in the environment. See, I would have liked that in the show because it would have kept the tension up and our characters would have had to have been really smart every time they did something, but they're just like gone. So that's why you've got Ellie and Dina walking through a street making noise. Brian Montero, how much more are you excited for season 3? Oh, a Foundation? Way more excited. Now, Foundation is a very interesting show to me because it is an adaptation, but it is adapting things that were said in the book, but we never saw. So it's very that's basically the entirety of the show. You're getting very little, and I have not finished all of Foundation. I started it, but I picked up on that's how this is. It's a lot of conversations, people talking about events that have happened in history, and then we hear about it in the aftermath. We don't see it happen. But the show is going, let's just play it out. But then they're also taking a lot of liberties. Like I haven't seen anything with Empire being a trinity like this, and I'm really liking it. I grew up with my grandmother really loving Foundation and my mom really liking it. And so I kind of know what some of the themes are. And this is a very interesting way to do it. No matter what, it's quality television. So you want to see some beautiful science fiction and production-wise, then go check that out. James Moore, thank you so much. $10 from James Moore. And he asks or says, in my opinion, watch Game 2 for discussion, but watch the first game. PS4 remastered version. What? Watch Game 2 for discussion, but watch the first game. Oh, so like version 1, the PS. Okay. Passively, so you can see the differences. First game is about 12 to 18 hours, including DLC. I think I remember Lucy telling me about DLC, but I can't remember if were they in the narrative? Were they in the game? I don't know. Second game is 22 to 30 hours. Even 12 to 18 is a lot. Can I watch it on speed? But I don't like doing that on a first watch. Although I was tempted to a few times with season 2. It's like, oh, they're still just walking and talking. All right, let's see. But yes, thank you so much, by the way, that $10, guys. Oh, so you probably didn't hear. Well, of course you didn't. But people in my Discord heard. So, sorry, I'm going to sit up a little higher because I just realized I'm cutting off part of my face. So HBO has gone retroactively and claimed my finale video, the one where I put all the extra editing and stuff in there. I ran it through YouTube's their content ID, that when you upload a video, it automatically searches it for content. And if you pass, then it's like, okay, nothing in here. So that means that somebody had to come to my video after I had already uploaded it. It was already starting to make money, and then said, oh, actually, we want to claim that. And I disputed it. And then literally 5 minutes before I logged in, I got a message from YouTube saying that they have reviewed my dispute, or HBO has, and they're still holding their claim. So like the next step for me is I could take them to court. I don't have the ability to take HBO to court for fair use, but I manipulated the hell out of every single clip that made it into my video. They were skewed, they were moving, they were zoomed in extra close. Some of them I flipped. I did as much as I could to cut it up so that it would be like, this is very different from what you would get in the show. And I didn't even include any scenes that I wasn't talking about and making a direct point about. Like, this is something that you know, I'm talking about how she went on this trip to the island, or I want you to see how ridiculous it is that they literally had her strung up and then cut her loose. You know, all kinds of stuff it's really frustrating to try to make money with videos. And I enjoy putting clips in my videos because I think they're fun, but to put all that work into it, and then for the company that owns the source material to be able to come in and say, actually, all that work that you just did, it's mine. And, you know, when you look at the segments of my video that they're claiming, just like with Wheel of Time. So when I was doing Wheel of Time and trying to submit it, I was really struggling to get past their copyright blocks. They were claiming me in front of my bookshelf more than they were claiming the footage of their own show. They're like, you have 40 minutes of video. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's only like 6 minutes where I've actually got footage from the show. The rest of the 34 minutes, or yeah, 34 minutes is me. It's me in front of my bookshelf, but they claim that. So getting tips helps a lot. Thank you so much. Oh, now your name has disappeared. James Moore. Let's see. Vegan Druid. Oh, I already think I've already read that one. I did. All right, skipping a few here. End of the Rope says, they screwed up the casting for season 2. I have no problem with Bella Ramsey, but she isn't the Last of Us 2 Ellie. Her pulling it off was just never going to work. If they recast her, it would have helped a teeny bit. It would have helped a little bit, but the only thing it would have helped is in instances where she's supposed to outmuscle somebody. That's it. Because she trying to have her like wrestling the WLF guy and then stabbing him, and then, well, she still acted stupid there. Like, have your knife ready, just like you did at the beginning. Like, you and Dina took out your knives and then you went into the building. Well, how about this? You hide, you pull your knife out. That way, when you jump on his back, you're instantly stabbed. Oh, whatever. Anyway, so she was still just written so bad. I could not tell you. I don't think that it's the actress at all. I think that the character was written to be so detestable that there's no one who could have played it and come out likable. I mean, think of the lines that she's had and the actions that her character took. That's not something that the actor decides to do. That's something that, unless she was making it up on the spot, which I don't think so, that is something that is written in the script. So it's on the script writers entirely. And it might not even be the script writers. It could be somebody above them telling them, well, change this, change this. You know, you never really know what's going on the inside. But either way, HBO is responsible for this. They are the ones who produced it and then decided, yeah, that's good enough to put on our platform. So David Hamilton, the show was pretty faithful to the game one. You can skip it if you want. Wait, did I already read this? I feel like I did. Richard Jeffries, if you aren't going to play the game, you'll lose some of what made it special because just watching it doesn't give you feel. I think it could, but the thing is like, I don't know how I would. I mean, to play the game, I would have to learn how to like use one of those controllers and learn how to use all the things. I don't know how to do that stuff. I mean, I played in an arcade when I was a kid. I know a joystick and like 4 buttons. So that's my video game experience. Like, I really don't know how to use those things. Let's see. Rachel, so excited to watch your reaction to the playthrough. Thank you for the work you put into the channel. Well, thank you very much, Rachel. Laura RL, my mother watched cinematics of The Last of Us 1 and 2, and she loved it. Okay, so that's just the cut scenes, right? That's not a message for me. End of the Rope. The Last of Us 1 and 2 are not difficult games to play, and you can lower the difficulty and make it through easy, and you'll get a much better feel for who Joel and Ellie are. I'll have to consult my siblings on that. I might sit and watch them do it. No, I won't do that because then everybody works. We're all working. Well, except me, kind of. I'm working, but I work after they're done working, and then they have the baby, and then I'm working. I watch my sister's baby during the day, and her son now. He's out of school. Just a messenger. Did I click it? Yes, I did. I think you should do both game versions because the characters vary greatly in personality. Do both game versions? What does that mean? Are there 2 games? I thought there's just like a remastered version. I might be missing something. Zensonar, will you watch a full playthrough? You'll miss too much if you only watch cutscenes. There are some good edited down playthroughs. You guys got to put the links in the comments of the ones that I should do, of the ones I should watch. Marissa, there's gameplay around with no commentary if you don't need to hear people yap. Yeah, I don't need to hear people yap. I prefer not that. Come on, China says hi. Well, hello. Do I know how to say hello in Chinese, in Mandarin? I thought I did. I don't. I've forgotten. Used to know. Back when I was watching Chinese dramas, that was actually like during COVID. I was like, what's going on over there in China? I'm like, oh, they've got some fantasy dramas. I'll check these out. A lot of them were really goofy, but some of them were pretty dang good. Let's see. Nirvana and Fire. I loved what that was doing. That was probably my favorite. Spaced Oyster says, if you like making characters, then Code Vein is for you. There's also an action game attached to it. I have no idea what any of that is. Code Vein, it must be a game. Oh, you mean creating the characters. I just liked changing their, it was like playing a Barbie, but with tech. I was like, oh, hair color, make it longer. Like, ooh, elf, yes, I want to be, no, she's gonna be a cat lady. I made her all buff like cat lady, and I was like, yes. It was basically Xena, but a cat. That was what she ended up looking, and she had hot pink hair. She looked great. Jared Landis says, I feel like the plot of Game 2 would have been solid if they had at least presented it in chronological order. A plot of Game 2. Okay, so if the scenes are out of order in the game as well, like we don't get any of the stuff that happened between Game 1 and Game 2 until after Joel's death, I don't understand what the point of that is. I would really need, somebody in my comments was like, how can you not understand the point? They're creating a mystery. What has gone wrong between Joel and Ellie? And then you find out what it is. We didn't need that. We already saw that there was an enemy on its way to come and destroy Joel. That's enough to keep us watching. Adding this other stuff, all it did was take away from the emotional resonance of Joel's death. It meant nothing to me in the moment because I was like, he's not acting like the Joel I know. So why do I care? Silence game. The gameplay is so good if you get the way it works. Everybody loves the game, I know. Actually, my brother said he played it and he said it was really good. James McMoneyman is in chat. I don't know who James McMoneyman is. Okay. The Last of Us has the flashback peppered in throughout season 2. Season had it all in... Okay, this is a long one. The Last of Us had the flashbacks peppered in throughout. The second season had it all in a single episode, and it was a good episode, but didn't work because of where it was placed, yes. And the zombie attack was cool, but it derailed the story. What do you mean? Which zombie attack derailed the story? I liked the one that was on Jackson. I thought that was actually pretty good. Like, that was... At least there was something else going on that was interesting. It was a reason for all those patrollers to be out and then like trying to get back so urgently. And What If I says, it would be awesome to see both parts, but even though the game comes off different, there are a bunch of lines directly taken from the game. There's just so much to talk about in the second. I'm Thorn. Okay, sorry. I'm not sure what that sign off was, but yeah, I don't want to miss too much. Oh my God, where do you live? Where do I live? Oh, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I live in one of the hottest places in the US. It is, what is today? It is That is not my weather app. Oh, it's only 106 right now. So that's not too bad. But I just want to warn people, because I know there's a lot of people planning on being outside here over the weekend. It's going to be 113. So maybe don't. 113, even the locals, like we all know, you just don't go outside in that. You stay indoors, you become nocturnal, that's it. Ooh, okay. Beatty, man, am I that far behind in comments? I am. I might have to start skipping even more. Craig Mason changed a lot of the writing for season 2. I believe he had solo writing credit for 5 of the episodes. Oh, I mean, but didn't Neil Druckmann write the original story? I feel like no matter what, he should have a credit in there. Like, so even if the other guy came in and wrote the script, the story is still by him. So it's kind of like, here's the story, guy. Now make the dialogue that goes with it. It's a collaborative effort. All right, I'm skipping a few. I'm going to click on the people I don't recognize. Baby doll. Oh, that's how you say it, baby doll. I think I said it wrong last time. Gotta agree, 100% jumping right into game 2 while it's still very recent and relevant would be a solid decision. I have to agree with that, yeah. Unless I can somehow get through game 1 really fast. Which I won't be putting any... Well, I can put clips in of the game and not get demonetized, I believe. That's what I was told. Jagadaku. Okay, hope I got that right. Total runtime of Ellie in Seattle is about 91 minutes. Game had 12 to 13 hours. Yeah, yikes. Well, I mean, she's still in Seattle. We're not done, right? She's still there. Let's see. Skipping ahead. Ryan, there's a huge difference between the games and show because of who is in charge. Druckmann was held in check by better people the first game. That, I think, I think that there's been a revelation that maybe Neil Druckmann has some really great ideas, but he needs other people to be like, this is where we fill in the holes. This is what we do. This is how we get to this place. Or maybe this theme that you're trying to do isn't working. Ryan, in the second game, all of the greats were gone and Druckmann had full control to push an agenda, not write a great story. See, excuse me. Somebody did send me a video and I did watch it, and I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I watched most of it, but it was Neil Druckmann standing. It was kind of a dark room. He was obviously talking to an audience, and he was talking about when he was first pitching the story of The Last of Us, and then it finally got picked up by Naughty Dog. And his idea was originally all the way to the end of what season 2 is. Like, that's what he wanted to do, but they only wanted to do season 1. And the thing is this, he may have had a plan that in his head would work part 1 all the way to the end of part 2. But when it was produced with just a part 1, like, let's just do this and see how it goes. And they made a lot of changes to make the characters into something that works independently in season 1 or game 1. When you continue the story, if you're like, okay, now I get to do whatever I want, great, I'm going to do my own themes. This is what it seems like happened. This is what I think happened, is that he got control of season 2 and said, well, now I'm just going to pretend like season 1 or game 1 did everything that I originally wanted it to do, and I'm going to write season 2 my own way. You can't do that in a continuous story. You just can't. If he really wanted to do the themes that he ended up doing, what he should have done is started with completely different characters. Just jump over to some other part of the world. Why not do this somewhere else? The US is huge, and there's also Canada, there's Mexico. You could have gone to Australia or South America or anywhere. You could have continued this story or done this story. Just have, okay, we've got new characters, but a very similar thing happened with Ellie. Like a very similar thing, except it didn't quite go the way that it went in season 1 of the HBO show or the game. It does what Neil Druckmann, what you wanted to have happen. So you can show that and play that. And then you have a whole new character, but you get to explore those themes and ideas that you really wanted to do the first time because your story was changed. It was something different from what you intended. So to jump in halfway through and say, now we're going to do what I intended, it just doesn't work that way. Sorry, I chatted way too much here. Okay, keep going. End of the rope says, The Last of Us. Yes? Is the dog coming in? Oh. Just hand it to me. Oh, thank you. Holy crap. My family is watching and they just handed me a note. I will jump ahead to this right now. How do I do this? Gord, holy crap. That is a very, very generous tip. Thank you so much. Holy cow. That's basically everything that I meant that I lost on the show. Because I shut up and remake the last seasons of Game of Thrones. HBO. They should. They really should. That would anybody could have done a better job. Anybody. It's whatever. Okay. So Demigod, that's basically how much I lost in the most recent video that I had. I think exactly. Are you one of my patrons, but under a different name? Because I haven't seen a Demigod in here. Sometimes I've got too many names in my head and I can't remember people. But holy cow, thank you. This is so generous. I mean, to everybody, it is. Thank you so much. But my goodness, Demigod, what the heck? That was the note that I was handed just now. I was like, that's terrible handwriting. Yes. Okay. I love my family. My family is one of the awesomest families ever. We don't always get along, but for the most part, we do. And we make stuff happen. Okay. So again, Demigod, holy cow. Thank you so much. This is like, that makes me feel so much better. No, I was so depressed. Okay, so funny story. Well, I guess maybe not that funny, but it was yesterday or the day before. My Discord will remember when I got the message from YouTube saying that they claimed my video. But I came out in the morning and I was like, guys, guess what? My most recent video is doing really good. Like, I'm actually making more than $40. Most of my videos only make about $40. I was like, it's making more than $40. It's making about $100, a little more than $100 at this point. And it might have been an hour or two after that, I got a pop-up, email sent. By the way, the HBO is claiming your video now. I'm like, what? So I just came out feeling so good. And then to have that dashed. So thank you so much. This means a lot. I have lost track of where we were before. I'm just going to have to jump in. I'm going to jump down to, here we go. I don't know where. So I'm trying to look over the camera at my screen because I have an independent camera. Like, there's my computer and there's, yeah. Okay. Great use of Fortuna with the pipe organ finale, by the way. Yeah, that was, I knew I wanted to use Fortuna, but I wanted a version that people hadn't heard. And I was like, oh, I can get this on a church organ somewhere. And I found one. I was like, yes, this is the best. That was, I think people underestimate just how grand the church organ sounds. It's great. Zensonar, please don't watch the cutscenes. There are so many huge moments and set pieces that are in gameplay. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm getting a lot of, I can't really miss all of the gameplay. So I have to find something that's got most of it. Mr. Bazbake, nice name. Just watch all the cutscenes. You don't miss much other than Tina's backstory and Jesse's mom and a story about her Jewish heritage in a synagogue. Okay, we're going back and forth. Chino PJ, this show isn't worth the trouble. It isn't, sadly. Okay, so you mean maybe don't watch season 1, the show again? Oh, is that how far back we're going? No, we're not. I'm not that far behind. I'm 20 minutes behind. I got to catch up. Okay. I'm clicking on people I haven't read yet. Orfanico, or is that Spanish, like Orfanico? Some super cuts do include the gameplay interactions. Yeah, I think because the one I was watching did seem to include some of the gameplay because I could tell that there was somebody was controlling the character. So your edits were great. Well, thank you. Do my best with those. They take a long time to do, though. Very, very long. Angel Spawn 77 says, they don't like criticism on The Last of Us 2. Happened to lots of channels when the game came out. Oh, really? Were the games censored on YouTube? Like they wouldn't let people upload the game? Because I had somebody tell me that I probably won't have any trouble with copyright claim on the game. Like I should be able to I should be able to upload the whole game if I even want it. If I wanted to, I don't want to, but I should be able to. Society Spider. Fair use is as dead as Joel after going golfing. Nice. Yes. Oh, I hope I didn't blast out the microphone on that one. Good ones. So Society. Good one, Spidey. That was good. Oh, hey, thank you. Got Raider Camus. I am not saying got Raider Camus. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Thank you very much. You are going to watch if you're going to watch, just watch the cutscenes. Game 1 is about 2 hours and game 2 is about 3. Also love the breakdowns and emotion. I can do more than a 2 or 3 hours. Like 5 would be fine. 8 is like, but you know, if there's a way that I can just watch it, but because it takes me about 3 hours for every 1 hour that you see. I'm filming about 3 hours. So I don't want to have to watch like a 15-hour, somebody said like a 20-hour version, but 8 or something, I can break it up into days. I wouldn't do it all at once. I would absolutely not do it all at once. I'd break it up into like, okay, guys, here's the first hour of the gameplay, and then I would just critique that. Jugado, that name. I'm so sorry. One of the biggest gripes is that Ellie never fires the rifle. No kidding. That Seth gave. So that's something I didn't notice or remember. I don't bother to take notes on this show. Sorry. Once it revealed itself as a piece of garbage, I just like, whatever. I'm just gonna watch. Actually, you'll notice that I didn't even watch them twice. Like, so I watched the first, I think maybe 2 or 3 episodes first. And then I would sit down and record myself watching it and reacting to it and talking about it. And I stopped doing that because I was like, I don't even want to watch these episodes twice. I'll just watch it and react right away. And it ended up working. But yeah, that is something that I would have picked up on maybe like a second watch of the whole show. That is what was the point of the rifle? I think I saw somebody talking. Oh yeah, here you go. They even changed the poster from her holding the rifle to a revolver and Ardina in front of the poster of episode 5, I think, really. So, I don't know. How could they miss that? I mean, when you're setting your actor up with the rifle for that shoot, that photo shoot, wouldn't you like, did we actually use this? Did she use this in the show? I mean, we had that scene where she was shooting with Tommy, but that wasn't really like she was on her adventure. So maybe she will in season 3 or 4, because I know we're getting a 4. Just ridiculous. Goat Jesus. There's a lot of good content cut from those versions, though, like dialogue during some gameplay. Part 2 to have everything is like 8 hours. 8 is not too bad. Kaiwan Calendar says the season 2 I like season 2 of The Last of Us. Okay, you like it. I just don't see what people got too wrong about it. It's not bad writing. I like General Hospital and watch General Hospital, and that's bad. No, you're allowed to like the show. Like, I know I'm very harsh critic on shows that cross a certain threshold of quality in writing, but you're allowed to watch a show that is not written well. There's plenty that I love that are terrible, but they interest me for other reasons. I'm trying to think of stuff. I always bring up the example of Lex, which was one I was into when I was like way back in college. I was like, this show is so ridiculous. It's terrible. It's a horrible show, but you're allowed to like it. But when obvious flaws in the writing, like characters doing things that don't make any sense or are contradictory, like that is not deniable. That's objective criticism. People are allowed to also critique a show, and that's what I try to do. And I do put in my personal opinion, obviously, but that's my personal opinion. You're allowed to like the show. That's totally fine. Go ahead and like it. As a matter of fact, if there was anybody who likes the show and wanted to do a live stream with me, like a discussion, I would totally be open to doing that. It's just that they don't like me. So, I mean, if somebody contacts me, I'll do it. Defeaterator. I think I got that right. No. It would have helped a lot more. Okay, that's part of a continuing conversation I didn't get, obviously. Joshua Fears, thank you very much. $20 tip, very generous. Part of the beauty of the game is that you are engaged in a way that television can't. The infected especially hit differently when you are in control of the character and trying to sneak past a clicker. No, I totally get that. I totally get that. The problem is not really that, oh, I don't want to have the least engaging experience. The problem is I don't think it would be practical for me to play. Like, it would take me 10 times longer to do this, and I don't have that kind of time. And it's just because my skill as a gamer, which is 0, it's like below 0. It's like, you're going to have to teach me how to use one of those controllers. Sad. Garsh says, yeah, casting wouldn't have saved this. Oh my gosh, are we that far behind? I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead more. Okay, skipping. Demi Gord says, whoops. Oh, here, this is you joining the chat and then later giving me that awesome tip. So thank you. Going down. James Moore, $5. Believe me, when most of this is your second tip. Are you people do more than one? Thank you. Thank you for sending another one. Believe me, while most of the second game is better than the show version, it'll still frustrate you. Game Bill and show Bill are very different people. I remember Lucy telling us that Frank is basically not even in it because he's already dead, and that their story is something we didn't even really get. Like, we didn't see anything with the two of them. There was no flashback or anything like that. We just meet them. We meet Bill later. I seem to recall wanting to see Bill be part of all of this. You know what's funny is, like, I wanted Seth to go on this adventure with Dina and Ellie. I thought that would be like, oh, this will be such a great dynamic. You got the two lesbians who are trying to, like, okay, now we're going to be part of society. And then you've got the guy who's like, oh my God. Well, the thing is he got over it really quick. So he was offended at the time and he was drinking. So, but still, I liked the potential of the dynamic to see the three of these people go on this adventure and how things would, they would butt heads and then they would have to work together and it'd be a fun adventure. But we don't always get what we want, do we? Spaced Oyster. When it comes to playing a game, the only one I'm aware of where actually playing it is necessary to be Spec Ops The Line, maybe BioShock. Okay. So somebody disagreeing that you don't have to play to get it. HN, I watched your take on The Last of Us because you are not a gamer. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm only about the storytelling. And I think it was Lucy who proposed the idea of critiquing The Last of Us. And I thought I was like, oh, it's a great idea. You can, because we were critiquing Willow. Remember that show, Willow? Because Randy and I love the Val Kilmer movie, the old one from the 80s. Like, I've got that movie memorized. I have the soundtrack and I listen to it on a regular basis. I love it so much. It's really good. It is such good storytelling. It's a very classic style story and it holds up today. I recently showed it to somebody like a year or two ago. I showed it to somebody who'd never seen it and they're like, this was made in the 80s? And I was like, yeah. And like, apart from the stop motion that they used on one creature, it looks really good. But we did quality storytelling back in the day. Oh yeah, but so we were watching Willow and critiquing Willow, the Disney show, and just dying inside. And then his daughter was telling us about how The Last of Us was coming out. And we're like, oh, we should do it. Like, that'll be fun. She can tell us what goes on in the game, and then the two of us, he's a writer, I'm an editor, we can talk about it from our different perspectives. So it was a good mix. It was good. R5s says, yeah, it's just remastered. Oh gosh, I'm that far behind. Willing Road. If you're going to watch only one gameplay, I'd say it's better to go for part 2. No, I'm willing to watch 2. Part 1 is very similar to season 1, whereas season 2 changed a lot. Okay, that is good to know. Maybe what I'll do is I'll watch game 1, but not record myself watching the whole thing. I'll just watch it and then discuss it later. What do we think of that? Is that a good idea? Oh yeah. Defeaterator says, ni hao. Yeah, that is how you say hello in Mandarin. Ed Legends. Have you seen the movie Ballerina from the John Wick universe? There is a scene where she has a dude in a leg choke and she gets slammed in a table a couple of times wish I was Ellie. I've not seen that. I actually have not seen John Wick. I've seen some of the scenes, but I know I should watch it because I love martial arts movies, and I know there's some really good fight scenes in that movie, or that whole franchise. It's a franchise now, is John Wick. Isn't there like 5 of them now? But yeah. Okay. The guy with the potato hoarding problem. Ni hao. Oh, also more ni haos. Other people. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. Okay, I'm skipping ahead again to names I do not recognize. Alec says the game's developer added a ton of accessibility options for new players, such as press button to point yourself in the right direction. Watching game 2 definitely works, but playing can be done if you're new. Oh, that's actually good to know. Spaced Oyster. Oh, I already read you. I'm skipping names I've already read. Pink Sugar. That's a good name. I personally didn't like game 2 because of the retcon to Joel's decision, and how could they be so sure they could make a cure, and how do we know they wouldn't keep it for themselves as a weapon? Absolutely, especially those 2 latter points. Like they're even in the game, or not the game, in the show, Marlene said might and thinks. He thinks he maybe can make a cure. It's not the same thing. And I remember when we watched season 1 talking about, like, why would you kill her right away? Why wouldn't you do a million other experiments with her first to try to see if there's a way to make a cure without killing her? Because once she's dead, that's it. That is your one immune person. And plus, she should be breeding. This girl should be out making babies so that you can have a whole line of immune people. Okay, the retconning Joel's decision. I cannot tell you guys how many times people in the comments have said the reason Ellie is mad at Joel is because he took that choice away from her. And I keep replying, what choice are you even talking about? She did not make a choice. And nobody ever replies to that. I cannot, what choice are they talking about? He didn't take any choice away from Ellie. As a matter of fact, the Fireflies are the ones who took a choice away from her. The Fireflies are the ones who said, you know what? You're going to die because we might be able to make a cure. Like, take away the whole might. Maybe it was a 100% sure thing. They are the ones who just made the choice, not Ellie. She did not make the choice. So I don't know what choice they're talking about. There's no retcon. There's just like there's not even an addressing of what the choice was. To retcon something, you have to rewrite the explanation, and they're not even doing that. So let's see, going down. Apollo, Jimmy. Love this new channel. You were like a different person on the season 1 reviews. This version is a warmer and funnier, even though you hated season 2. Thank you. Well, you know, it's different when you're in a dynamic with somebody else. Like I tend to get more professional when I'm talking to other people. Like if you ever talk to any of my clients, I do not act like this when I'm critiquing their works, because I'm your partner in this process. I'm there to help you write the story that you want to tell. And I will inform you if I think what you have written does not do what you say you want it to do, or if I think that your idea is not going to be successful with audiences or whatever, or it's not believable, I will inform you of those things. But if you decide I disagree, I want to move on, I'm like, okay, I kind of compartmentalize it and I say, let's move on to whatever the next thing is. And we continue the discussion on that way. I'm not going to fight a writer on the story that they want to write, but my job is to help you to improve. And a lot of writers come to me and don't even realize when they're making certain mistakes. And then when I point it out, they go, oh, you're so right. I didn't see that. You know why? Because we're blind to our own writing. Like, I'm a writer too. I write. I mean, I haven't published anything, but I've written a couple of novels and stories. And I know I'm a terrible writer because I read my own stuff after like 2 years of not looking at it. And I go, what the hell was I thinking? That's terrible. Like, oh my gosh. Even just little stupid things like grammar and punctuation. You become blind to your own writing. And even if you try to edit yourself as an editor, you still are going to miss your own work. You're going to miss it. So you have to hire somebody else or work with a partner, work with somebody. And you don't have to hire somebody. I get a lot of emails with people asking me about rates and do they want to hire me? And to any of the ones that I feel like, look, I think that your writing isn't quite ready for what I would want to do with you. It would be too much money for you. I always recommend join a critique group, and find one that has like some experienced writers and some newbies, but people who are serious about writing, because most people who have an interest in storytelling and are studying it to some degree and practicing it to some degree, they can see the mistakes in other people's work. Like I don't say anything in any of my critiques to my clients that I haven't heard other people say about my work, or that I haven't been in a group and seen other people say it about their work. And I go, oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to remember that. That's a good thing to keep in mind. If I ever see something like that in somebody else's writing, I'm going to mention this, because anyway, what I'm saying is it's good to get a lot of minds on it, and you don't always have to pay somebody to do it. If you want somebody to be like right there with you as a partner, then you can maybe find somebody who has a dedication to their craft, but doesn't want to go to a writing critique group either. Those people are out there. They exist. And now you have a wide network with all of these online options. So you go on to Discord. I'll bet you there's tons of Discords just for creative writing. Find ones where you're reading their stories and you go, actually, these people are really talented. I want them to look at my work. But remember, don't be offended if they look at yours and say you're not for us. Maybe that they see in your work that they're not able to help you, or maybe you need to develop your work a little bit more before you're ready to jump in there, and it's not a big waste of everybody's time. Like maybe there's some fundamental things that you still have to go over. It all depends. Is there, some people come in and I'll tell you what, I've come across writers in critique groups and I go, you are too advanced for this group. Like you need to go and just start publishing your work because they're so good. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Why keep going? I found your channel's videos last month. You've easily become one of my favorite channels. I love your critique on The Last of Us Season 2 and look forward to your future videos. Well, thank you so much. Why keep going? It's hard to say that at the end of that. All right, keep going. Somebody talking to somebody else. Hunter Vaughn, in the game, you don't know who Abby really is until her half. So you're more angry, not knowing exactly who she is until they introduce her. See, that would be so interesting, I think. The thing is if they did that, if they revealed who she is at the beginning in the show, why then did they move the flashbacks with Joel to later? Like, why did they still have those happen later? Because putting who she is at the beginning creates that tension, that impending doom that is closing in on your main characters. It allows you to do mundane things with them and still feel that there is tension and conflict because, death is coming, or an enemy at least is coming. Going down. Oh, wait, somebody did tag me here. Goat Jesus says, to speak to the flashbacks, the themes are about rumination. So flashbacks work. Joel, Ellie are presented as having a better relationship. You don't need to do this. I can see them. I just noticed. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. I've got to get to some super chats here because holy crap. I did miss actually that one. Here we go. Going to the super chats. Oh, wait. Let me finish this one. Go Jesus says, to speak to the flashbacks, the themes are about rumination. So flashbacks work, and Joel and Ellie are presented as having a better relationship. They're about rumination. I mean, the characters are supposedly I'm confused about what this means exactly. To presented this to show that they have a better relationship. So what? Surprise, they actually were getting along after season 1? I just don't understand how that serves the story in the grander scope. How does that change or bring something new to the big story other than surprise they were getting along? I can see you've got a part 2 here. To speak to the flat. Oh no, it's actually the same comment. Okay, I'm going to do the super chats right now before I forget because I don't want to forget. Okay, so I've got, all right, we've done this one, didn't we? Yes. And done this one, done this one, done this one, done this one. As long as you actually feeling. Did I get got Raider Camus? Did I read this one? Well, if I did not, thank you. If you do not know how to play a game, as long as you watch it, you should feel the emotion. I watched game 2 before playing it. It was fine. Okay, that's good to hear. The thing is I was watching a video where Somebody else was obviously in control because at one point they bumped into a table and they could not reach something. They couldn't grab something they were supposed to be grabbing. And I wasn't taken out of it because I wasn't the one trying to control it. As a matter of fact, I was grateful somebody else was controlling it because I would have sat there just trying to grab this thing on the table for probably another 10 minutes. But this person figured it out in maybe like 4 seconds. So, all right. Ventus Bruma, thank you for $5. The reason that Jackson Attack is bad is that it throws off Tommy's story, which butterflies into issues with Abby and Ellie's story later. Oh, really? Don't give me any spoilers. But okay, if somehow this is going to throw off Tommy's story, well, I'll have to wait and see how that happens. But I personally liked the attack. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really have very many complaints about it, except that they were launching those gasoline barrels too far away. And I know people were like, oh, well, they can't set the wall on fire. I'm not saying pour the gasoline down the wall, but the main bulk of your enemy is in the first like 10 to 20 feet here. Don't launch your barrels like 100 feet away. How about pour some gasoline over? And if you've ever poured anything over from a height, it doesn't go straight down from where you've poured. If you're like pouring it this way, basically, I'm just saying you don't have to pour gasoline down the side of the wall. And yeah, anyway, but sorry, thank you very much. Got Raider Camus. I hope I said that right. Ventus Bruma says, or gives $5 and says, the reason that Jackson Attack is bad is, wait, I just read that. Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you, Ventus Bruma. Sorry about that. All right. Next one is Garsh. I always want to say it like how Goofy says it. Garsh. When you do review the games, do you think you will break it up episodically similar to follow the show's episodes? Thanks again for your video reviews. I will probably watch by the hour, or if it's like 8 hours, I'll watch 2 hours, something like that. Because I feel like 4 or 5 is probably 4 or 5 review episodes. Like, I mean, my episodes, my videos are probably about, that's a sane amount of videos to do. So that's probably what I'll do. Because the video game story will move slower than the show because you have things like people traveling and stuff like that where you don't just teleport somewhere. So that's what I'm anticipating anyway. But thank you, $20. Gosh, people are being super generous here. I gotta get, my gosh, like, I don't know why you guys, but thank you. Thank you so much for the money. It really needed. My dog's eye surgery was not cheap, but she looks great. Holy cow. So what they did, her eyelid is like this, right? They cut out a pizza slice. Like imagine a triangle like this. This is her eyelid. They cut out a pizza slice like this and then took the 2 pieces of flesh from here and here after that was missing and stitched them together. That's how they did her eye surgery. So her eyelid was like this at one point, and they just anyway, it looks so good though. You really cannot see it. You cannot see it. Plus some of her fur has grown over it, so now you really cannot see it. But even when it was fresh and it was all bald because they shaved it, I was like, I cannot see this unless I'm inches away from her face, which she doesn't really like. She gets kind of disturbed. She looks at me like, what did I do? But she's very tolerant, so she lets you do it. She just doesn't like it. I've got a very sweet dog. I'm very lucky. She's very gentle. We call her Eeyore and the Gentle Giant around this house. But Silent Game, thank you so much. No comment on that one, just the money. That's like when grandma sends you a card and doesn't put anything in the card. It's just got cash. Thank you. I didn't mean to call you grandma. I was just having a childhood memory. My grandma would at least sign the cards. I saw my grandma all the time. She was awesome. Okay. Heb says, oh my gosh, Heb, thank you. Holy cow, $100. Well, okay, this is ARS. What is ARS? Can someone tell me what ARSs are? Austrian somethings? I don't know. What other countries start with an A? I mean, I know a bunch of them. Argentina? I don't know. What are ARSs? But thank you, 100. Holy cow. The game had a lot of whoops. There you go. Didn't mean to hide it. The game had a lot of problems, so I guessed this season wasn't going to be as loved as the first one. What I didn't know was that the acting and dialogue were going to be so much worse and cringy. Watch it again. and ask yourself, is it really the acting, or is there any way anybody could have delivered these lines and performed these actions in a way that didn't sound horrible? I really struggle sometimes. Okay, so it could be the actor performance, the writing, or the directing. Because remember, if somebody's on set and they do something and it's not what is intended in the script, it's the director's job to say, do it this way or do this thing. So there's a lot of people who can be responsible for what happens. Like when Ellie was in the hospital and she was rolling her eyes at the doctor as she was saying, nothing, I feel perfect, like that, and she was rolling her eyes. That was such an obnoxious expression that I was almost wondering, is that something that the director said, do this, like roll your eyes at him, like he's like it's to you ridiculous that he wouldn't think you're in tip-top shape at this point, like nothing, I feel perfect. You don't know. And maybe the actress did decide to do that. It's still the director's job to say, don't do that. Because she did fine in season 1. I didn't see anything that was really horrible in season 1. So I don't know. Unless somebody can show me a performance that she has given where the character is great and really likable, but she just did a horrible job performing, I will not believe that she's a bad actress. Sorry. Let's see. But I will agree with you that the dialogue was absolute crap. The dialogue was some of the worst. I think I said it in my video, but the season finale might have been one of the overall worst written big budget science fiction episodes I've ever seen. Discluding Disney, which is just bizarre, but even a lot of the Disney crap was better than this. It was just bad. I couldn't believe that a studio with the prestige of HBO would put out something that I would consider below a lot of the Disney Star Wars stuff. So, but okay, here we go. Heb, thank you so much. And whatever ARSs are, thank you for that. Got Raider Camus, again, another 5. You got a lot to say and you need me to hear it. It's okay, I get it. I do that too. I would love to see your reaction to Game 1. It's one of my favorites of all time, and it's just amazing. Also, 3rd super chat. LOL, record it all. LOL. Yeah. I don't know, recording an 8-hour game and then also recording that'll be tough. But if I'm doing it in like 2-hour blocks, it might not be that bad. We'll see. But sometimes I'll turn my camera off and then go out of the room or something to stretch or whatever. And then when I come back in, sometimes I forget to turn it back on when I'm recording again or when I'm watching again. So I've missed some of my best reactions. They didn't make it. I got to figure out some way to get, I don't know. I've got pretty good space on my thumb drive, not my thumb drives, whatever these things are, the SD cards, but not enough for an 8-hour video. Sprezzatura. Did I say that right? I don't know. This is a cool name. I like your profile picture too. It feels 80s to me. Like your commentary on The Last of Us Season 2 a lot. Your videos and the video Craig Mazin Misunderstands Ellie are some of the best critiques I've seen. Well, thank you. And I'll have to check that one out. Craig Mazin Misunderstands Ellie. I think I've seen that one floating around. So I try not to watch other reviewers review episodes until after I've finished recording mine or editing, whatever, because I don't want to accidentally like just get my mind, going, okay, I'm seeing exactly what they are and I'm focusing on that. And then I miss other stuff. I tend to critique better when I'm just going in cold and I don't know anything. Maybe it's because I'm focusing more. I know I can't slack off, so I have to pay attention. It's like, yeah, that's probably what it is. James Moore, is this your second one? I think this might be your second one. Thank you. $10. Ellie never had a choice in either game or show. Most definite thing Ellie said in the game was, after this is all done, I'll go wherever you want, to Joel before they reach the Fireflies during gameplay. That to me sounds like she wanted to live, just saying, after this is all done, I'll go wherever you want. She was making plans to be wherever Joel is. She wanted to continue having him as a father figure. It all goes out the window when people say that somehow Joel took her choice. No, I'm sorry. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Got Raider. Oh, again, thank you, James Moore, for the $10. But yeah, you are so right about that. That I have to watch season 1 again, because I know they had a conversation when they were in Salt Lake City. It was right before they got captured, I think. And she had like a moment and he was talking to her and comforting her. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, what did she say there? Did she say she was suicidal there, or that she wanted to die or something? I don't think she ever did. So, I don't know. All right. Got Raider Camus, $20. You are on a roll here, man. Ellie in the game seems to have survivor's guilt. She was upset that she didn't die. Even though I agree, the Fireflies seemed incompetent, and I never thought they had a chance to make a cure. All of it upsets me. Now, survivor guilt and wanting to die are two separate things. But if she was upset that she didn't die she was supposed to be in the show, I do not recall seeing that at all in the show. I recall her believing that she's had a terrible life and that it sucks, but she seemed to enjoy the bits of life that were enjoyable. So, you know, when she was getting the joke book and when she got to shoot things and learn how to do that stuff, she was excited about life. And she obviously loved Joel at the end, until apparently she said she didn't, which I didn't, yeah, whatever. Anyway, but did I even finish reading your thing? I did not. Even though I agree the Fireflies seemed incompetent and I never thought they had a chance to make a cure, all of it upsets me. Yeah, there's some major flaws. Maybe they should have just ended the story at the end of season 1 and just left it kind of open. I'm not usually in favor of that, like the Inception ending where you just see the top continuing to spin and then you never see if it falls or keeps spinning. I don't usually like that unless there's a very important reason for it to be there. The more I've thought about Inception, I understand why they did it. The point is, it doesn't matter if it keeps going or stops, because it doesn't matter if this is real or not. He's happy and he's surrendering to whatever this is. It makes me happy. And even if it's not real, I'm diving in. I don't care anymore. Like, that's what it was saying with that moment. I get that. But with something like this, do I feel the same way about Ellie saying okay and people interpreting it? The thing is nothing about what, at least in the show, I didn't see that her journey was about, can I trust Joel, or feeling like I really need you to tell me the truth, because if you don't, I could never rely on you. Like, this issue never came up before. To me, it was about a girl who really wanted a family. Like, she even made that speech. I've never been able to depend on anyone except you. She said, everybody has either died or left me except you. And she was upset at the thought that she could have lost him. So to me, her saying okay was about her accepting him as her father figure. Like, you are my dad now, basically. And then it seems at the beginning, in all the flashback stuff that we got in season 2, that's what happened. And I don't know. No, too much of it doesn't make sense. It's when you have so many problems like this, it's really hard to critique the story, because every one thing that you say to fix, that's not going to be enough. It can't be just one thing. It's like there's a cascade of events. It's a tree branch of other things that also need to be changed in order to make sense, to the point that you probably have a different story at the end of all your changes. And I think I said that during one of my critiques, basically, that so much needs to be changed about this story that it probably would not be the same story if, like, it would be a different beginning or a different end. If you, like, I don't think that they will work. You want to keep the ending the way that it is. Oh my gosh. But then again, it's like, but what ending do you want? Do you want Joel to have made the wrong decision or the right decision? Then we got to change what the Fireflies are doing. Oh, see, that's the problem. I literally, I just demonstrated what the problem is that I explained or mentioned a couple seconds ago. You can't fix just one thing. There's a million things that come from that need to be fixed in order for it to work. But Got Raider, thank you very much for that $20 tip. I'm going to get back to some regular comments here. Let's see. I have no idea where we are now. I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to scroll up. Oh my gosh. How far are we? Oh, there we go. I can click one button. New. Okay, here we are. I'm going to scroll back to... Here we go. Here's a name I don't recognize. Brandon Westfall from 612, which was 5 minutes ago-ish. Story-wise, part 1 is identical. Visually, they update everything. Mechanically, they made gameplay similar to part 2. Visually, they updated everything. Oh, you mean the 2 versions of part 1. So there are multiple versions, then is what it sounds like. Visually, they updated everything. Mechanically, they made gameplay similar to part 2. Okay, so they updated the gameplay too. I get that. Doro626 says, the question becomes, if Ellie says no, do the Fireflies do the surgery anyway in regard to giving her a choice? Yes, but see, then Joel's not wrong to rescue her. So here's the thing. Assuming that the Fireflies have a 100% sure way to create a cure from her, but they have to kill her, like it's definitely a thing, they would have a moral obligation to tell her first. And if she says no as an adult, let's assume they have to do it as a child, then this is a heinous thing that has to be done for the good of humanity. But to ask her first is to attempt to take the highest possible moral path that you can take. If you ask her first and she still says no, you still have to take her, but at least you asked her and gave her the option. And then you as an individual or as a community, as a civilization, you will be built on something, on a foundation of guilt. However, it will have been like, this is the horrible thing that we had to do in order to survive. But you're taking that responsibility. By not telling her and then just killing her anyway, then what you're doing is you are taking away, or you are easing the guilt on yourself. You are saying, okay, I won't feel as guilty if I just don't tell her that we're going to kill her. You're still deciding another person doesn't get to live. It's murder. It is, there's no getting around it. It is murder. You're deciding this person doesn't get to live. We do. That choice, that does not change. Now for Joel, his dilemma becomes he has the role of father, and it is a father's job to protect your child. That is your number one priority in all of life. His job is not to humanity as a whole. It is to just her. So his job, if he did not try to rescue her, would have failed in his duty. So if he wasn't her father and it was just some random person, then he would obviously not have the impulse to go and do this. But there's a lot of good stuff here. But the way that it's written does not leave it open for this discussion, because it was not a sure thing. It was an experiment. And there really did not seem to be any way to do, like, how are you going to make this thing? And the Fireflies are evil anyway. So are they even going to use it to cure everybody? And then you still have the zombies out there. And why kill her when maybe reproducing is a thing for her to do? Or maybe there is something you can do to create a vaccine or whatever, something with her blood. Like, how great would that be if, hey, we figured out that we can make this vaccine with it. So if anybody gets bit, all they have to do is like an epinephrine shot. They're good to go. You know, there's just too much. But, you know, it's a good conversation piece, at least. You know, it's like when you have a weird piece of art in your house and it just doesn't quite work and everybody stands around staring at it while they're drinking beers going, what the hell is this thing? It starts up conversations, at least, right? Non sequitur. The show made Bella's Ellie a reluctant protagonist as opposed to a revenge-fueled and self-destructive force of nature. So she was reluctantly going on a revenge quest that she was going to sneak out on, and then didn't want to bring her friend on, but then did. That, even that's not reluctant. It didn't come across as a reluctant protagonist. A reluctant protagonist is on a journey they have to be on. And she was not on a journey she had to be on. The only reason they were on this journey is because she wanted to be on it, supposedly. And then she acted like she didn't want to be on it or didn't care about it. That's even worse. It wasn't that she acted like she didn't want to be on it. You know what they could have done is, if she was like, Joel is somebody who would never have let this go. He absolutely would have killed everyone who would have killed me. So it's my job to take revenge for him. And like, if she was conflicted about doing that, and didn't really want to do it, but she's doing it anyway to honor him. I think that could have worked, but that's not what they did at all. It's a different story. Three Kings Productions, chance to shine as a survivalist, and Ellie being written as an incompetent buffoon who can't survive on her own. There were too many times in the entire season that she should have been dead. Way too many times that she should have been dead. As a matter of fact, times when the community should have kicked her out of the community. Like, you're no longer welcome here because you are a danger to the rest of us. She was a hazard. I'm getting some notifications. Okay. Scrolling down, Clarity Golden. To me, not having spores in season 1 was the first red flag for me of Craig's work. I understand why they didn't do it, because covering the actors' faces all that time is really, it's going to be like, are their faces covered basically 100% of the time, or only if they are in areas where the infected are? Either way, even if there were just areas where the infected were and they're releasing spores, like, does it get carried in the wind? You know, they could have fixed it is like the spores only seem to be effective in the air for certain amount of time. So if there was a field of spores and they went poof and the wind took that away, it could only get like, I don't know, a mile before the spores are dead. That could work. But even then, would you walk around without your mask on? So it's tough to put actors on screen without being able to see their face. And this is why you have Peter Parker. Because if he was just Spider-Man, although he's got all those really fun, cheesy lines, but you need to see their face. That's where the expression is. That's where the human interest comes in. This is why, as much as I loved the Power Rangers, I don't watch them as an adult. Let's see. PJ Garrett says, the show doesn't do the games justice. It's hilarious. It's sad. I don't know if I could say it's hilarious, but it's definitely sad. Rain Morga, then you will have no problem with her playing the original then. I don't know if that's from reference to me. I don't know if that's a message for me. HR, Last of Us was never supposed to have a sequel originally. I didn't think it should have. To me, that was the end of the story. Which, by the way, again, I want to push Severance. If you have not seen it, it is a science fiction thriller. Do not look up what the story is. Just give it a try. Because half of the joy and thrill of watching that is not knowing what the hell is going on. And all your answers are answered. All of your questions are answered at the end of season 2. So it's great. It's some of the best science fiction I've ever seen. So anyway, I know it looks like The Office. It's kind of a criticism, or what do you call it, satire about corporate life and about corporate lifestyle. How do you balance work and home life? That's literally like the main theme, but it branches out in so many brilliant ways. It's such a satisfying watch. Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying. Season 2 is a little slower, but not dissatisfying. Brandon Westfall, there's no reason to play an outdated version of the game when the original is more accessible and visually appealing. At this point, you're arguing some. Okay, you guys are arguing with each other. Go ahead. I actually like it when people argue in my comments. I will lurk. I'll just watch them arguing like, ooh, they're talking about something like, it must be a real bad issue that they both are willing to like do digital blows against each other. Dark Crow Gaming says, season 1 felt so rushed. It's not as good as the game, to be honest. You know what's interesting is the little bit of game 1 that I watch was way faster than what we got in the show. The storytelling was way faster in the game. But I didn't feel like I missed anything. I was really engaged. And that is what animation will tend to do. Even animation that so closely resembles live action like this. It's the writing. It is a quality of the writing because it takes so long to produce even 1 minute of final product. They are going to edit the crap out of those early, or out of your script before they actually start to produce it. And that means you're getting a usually very well edited story, very concise. Danny May. Ellie did not fully understand that her death was a requirement for the cure. She was sedated and seemingly unaware of the details of the procedure. She wasn't even like, oh, you're going to be sedated and then we're going to do some tests on you. They knocked her out, and while she was unconscious, they sedated her. least that was what happened in season 1. So it wasn't even like they're like, oh, let's do some tests on you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put you to sleep now. Okay. That did not happen. Remember, she got knocked out by like a percussion bomb or something like that. I forget what it was. And she was unconscious when Joel got knocked out. So she wasn't conscious. Joel wakes up. Where's Ellie? Oh, she's already in surgery. They took her straight from being unconscious to surgery. That's what happened. Maxie, love your reviews and commentary. So on point. Appreciate your challenging their writing. Well, thank you. That's what I do. Challenge the writing. It's a hazard. It's a hazard to anybody who wants to watch a movie or show with me, because I will be like, guys, do you know what's happening right here? They're setting up this thing. Don't spoil it. That happens so many times. I try to shut up when I watch movies because I have the urge to like say all the things I'm noticing about the storytelling, especially if it's really good. The flashbacks in the game. You know what's funny though is my family, we love, like, we will all be watching something and at the same time, most of us will go, he's dead, or like that person's gonna die. And I think it's just because I've done it so many times, and obviously people do that sort of thing, but I love it. I love that about my family, that we will discuss things that are happening in movies or shows. But that's one of my favorite things, is when we can predict that somebody's going to die. Lose Lake, not as she wanted to die, more like she's alive instead of making a cure. Not as she want. Did I miss part of your comment? Might have missed part of your comment. I think you're talking about Ellie. That's not how she wanted to die. More like she's alive instead of making a cure. I'm not sure. Oh, like she's upset that she's alive instead of making a cure. Either way, she didn't make a choice. No choice was taken from her. That's the main issue. Renee Garcia says, the Eugene flashback was completely off place and was never in the game. Oh, really? See, I actually liked it, but I hated that Joel didn't defend himself. Like, you watch that scene, you can see as like Joel is like, he lowers the gunish and he's like, okay, fine, we'll take him back to Jackson. And then he's like, all right, move, Eugene. And they're walking, and you can see like the camera even pushes in on Joel, noticing him leaning up against the tree, starting to talk, like kind of like, I didn't think it was gonna make you cold. Like, it makes you cold. You can, and then it pushes in on him, and you can see him sort of like thinking like, okay, I have to go and kill him now. And then even when he was like, you're on the beach, I'm going to kill you, the guy's like, no, I didn't want to go back because I need to say something to my wife. I need her to say something to me. I need comfort. He was ready to like, okay, then we'll go do that. Like, he was ready to do that. But then it occurs to him, well, wait, you'll be able to see her face. If you love her, if you love someone, you can always see their face. And he waited with him. He coached him through that moment. I did not for a second believe that Joel, everybody's like, he tricked Ellie. He never was going to take him back to Jackson. I did not see that. That to me, it seems like every hint was given that he was going to take him back, but then decided he's not going to make it, and so had to do it here. And there were multiple times when he paused and went, can I still make this work? And then realized he can't, or it's not going to, like what's he supposed to do? The guy's going to turn before he gets back to Jackson. They're going to bring him back. They're going to have Ellie with him with a lasso and him with a lasso. And they're just going to they're on their two horses with a guy between them. That sure would have been not traumatizing at all. Three Kings Productions says, you're my dad, but I'm going to ruin this lady's last moments of her husband, so I can get back at you, Dad, because you swore. Yeah, that was horrible. They definitely should have had Ellie not say that right there. Like, go, like, storm off, and then have Joel go back with her to house, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you, or something like that. That would have been such a better way for her to handle that situation. Instead, she handled it in the most obnoxious, horrible, selfish way. It made her look bad. It really, so other people have been commenting about my sociopath comments, like, because I've been calling her a sociopath, which these demonstrate those behaviors. Looking at the flashback episode, okay, maybe she's not a sociopath, but people have been saying maybe she's got borderline personality disorder, and that sounds more accurate to me. Either way, she is unable to pull herself out of herself and look at her situation from the outside and think, maybe I shouldn't do this, even though it's what I want to do. Like, if she wants to do something, if she's got the impulse to do it, there's nothing that's going to stop her from doing it. She's going to destroy another person's life because she's angry at her dad. That's what she's going to do. She doesn't care about that other person. And then she'll turn around and get mad at somebody for not sacrificing their life to fail to save somebody. That made no sense. That was so stupid. Like, what are you going to do? You were mad that you weren't allowed to go and suicide yourself, in which case the kid still would have died. Like, she's incapable of standing outside of herself and examining what she's doing. Jasanya Ariani says, you should also watch Abby's part in the second game. So I think what I'll do is I will watch up until the end of where season 2, the show, went. That's actually a good question. Maybe I should ask everybody, should I watch all of the game too? I kind of like watching the show without having any knowledge of what happens in the game, because people have been telling me that the game has scenes that weren't included in the show, or the show has scenes that weren't in the game at this point. They were later. I'm interested to see what the show does, because I'm more familiar with critiquing a streamlined story that is presented in the way that a show or a movie is than I am critiquing a game. I'm not even sure how I would critique a game. I guess just like if I'm watching a movie. Okay, going down. Brandon Westfall. I have no hate for Bella, but she was miscast for season 2. I don't care if she looks like Ellie or not, but visually she looks too young for what the role called for. Yeah, that's really the only, when people say casting choice is bad, and I go, well, you can't tell with the writing, that is indisputable. She looks like a 14 or 15-year-old still. And that is a big issue, because if she's supposed to be fighting large monsters, if she's supposed to be taken as an adult, there's things they could have done to make her look a little bit older and more mature, but giving her the attitude that they did, it made her just look even more like a stupid teenager. So it's a lot in the writing, but yes, physically, definitely, she is too small and looks way too young. Hey, it's not a bad thing, girl. It is a blessing to look young. I am fortunate to look young for a Gen Xer. Amethyst 715. Ellie's edgelord comment about it being easy to hurt Nora bothers me so much. I just replayed the game, and you watch Ellie work herself up before the swing. The player has to prompt her on every swing. Oh, like it's something that they have to make her do because she's reluctant to do it. I like that. So they're making her more evil, more sociopathic in the show. Jeffrey Garber, an account called Gamer ANH, has really well done cinematic gameplays for each game. Much recommended. Put a link in the comment. Do it. I will watch it. I will check it out. Three King Productions says Marlene was never giving her an option. Yeah, she had no option. You're coming with me over here, and then we're going to kill you. That was the plan from the beginning, it seems. Team D, maybe the writers are trying to kill Ellie with bad writing so they can create a cure. That is funny. Good. Well played. Saladino. Neil Druckmann said that the ending meant Joel took away Ellie's choice, and people repeat it without really thinking about why it doesn't make sense thematically. It's something he brought up later. Yeah, that scene does not say Ellie is upset that he took away. She didn't even know, though. In season 2, she didn't know what happened until she confronted him on the porch. She suspected. I don't know. The thing is there's too many flaws. We're back on that problem of too many flaws to even have a single critique that fixes everything, because you're always going to follow that up. Whatever critique you make, oh, they should do this, is going to be followed with, but
in order to make that work, they'll also have to change this, 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 and this. The thing is that it doesn't work as it is. It does not work as a whole as it is because there are too many problems. But if you try to fix any one of those problems, it will alter how you fix all the other problems too. Next one, Brandon Westfall. Even if they create a cure, they have no way to mass produce and distribute it. I actually don't think Ellie would have said yes if she was actually given the choice by Marlene. I mean, I feel like she would probably want to, like, how can we make this the last resort? Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know Ellie. I can't remember Ellie from the first season that well. I just remember my general feeling about her. Javi? Yavi? Javi? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. The Fireflies would operate on her if there was 1% chance of success. They would never give Ellie an option. That's what the Fireflies are. Yeah. And there's a discussion to be had about what if it was, the option, it was like a maybe. The thing is then Joel's not wrong. Joel's not wrong to try to save his daughter. So Amanda says, I made it. Yay. One of the good ways, I was just thinking this, one of the good ways this is a maybe situation. Like, we maybe can make a cure. Okay, so Ellie is for sure going to die if we operate on her, and maybe we can make a cure. So then what you do is you look at the outcomes. Possible outcome number one, most likely, you can't make a cure from her. So you killed her and still weren't able to make a cure, and now there's nobody else that you can experiment on because she was the only one. Everybody will feel like crap. They killed a little girl for a maybe. It didn't work. The only way you can feel good about it is if it actually works. So your chances of making it work would have to be very, very high, I think, for you to justify to yourself that we do this. Because if you kill the only person who you've ever come across that is immune, then that's it. Like, that's the final option. There is no other chance after that. So maybe keep her alive until possibly down in the future, somebody thinks of a way that they can get a cure from her. Maybe somebody else has an idea. Maybe they don't need to kill her. Maybe she should start having some babies. I can't believe that wasn't something that people thought of. Hockey talk. It's just insane and incompetent. The Fireflies assumed, 1, her immunity is in their brain, and 2, it will be visible and active despite her being dead. That's a very good point. If she's dead, won't it die too? Like, when you kill the body of an infected, does their infected fungus thing keep growing? I don't think that's ever been addressed in the show. I wonder if it was in the game. Cookie the Cook says 100% murder. Agree. Defeaterator. Yeah, it's a selfish decision for the sake of what they think is the greater good. I think what they wanted was power. That's the sort of decision that people make when they're like, if we get a cure from this, we can shut down Fedra. I think that's probably closer to what their motivation was. Spreza 2RA. Is this another one or is this the same one? Thank you so much. Still processing how sad it is that my favorite producer, HBO, adapting my favorite game story did such a miserable job. A deeply resonant story reduced to amorphous, forgettable fluff. Wish it were never made. Yeah. But you know what? If you look at the games, like, the games look really good. I was just watching, like I said, those first few minutes of 15-ish minutes of game 1. It looks good. Like, I would watch that. Never let an adaptation destroy your love for the original. I think that's one thing I struggle to see with people. Like, I love the Harry Potter books and the movies. Like, they're totally different. I mean, they're not totally different. They're actually, it's a very good adaptation, but they're their own thing. It's a different tone. There's some slightly altered themes, lots of missing stuff, but I still love the books. Like, I still laugh for certain scenes in the books. Like, don't let an adaptation that's not good or different change how you feel about it. My niece loves watching Howl's Moving Castle, but I've loved the books for a long time. The Ingrid stories by, what's her name? Can't remember her name, but she's written it's a trilogy that takes place in Howl's Moving Castle world. And they're totally different stories, totally different. But they're both really charming in their own ways. Let's see. Hockey Talk says, oh, yes, again, thank you, Sprezza2RA. Spretzatra. I don't know how to say it. Thank you for the $10 tip. Hockey Talk. There's no reason to assume her immunity will remain when she dies. Yeah, I think that was the whole, like, if she's dead, will there be anything to look at even? Will they cut open her brain and there's actually something there to look at? Like, what? Is there like a fungus growing inside her brain and it just lives in a symbiotic relationship with her? I don't know. Couldn't they figure that out in some other way? Anyway. Oh, you know what I was just thinking? So, okay, if it's a fungus that wants to spread. Didn't Marlene say something that she has cordyceps in her, but it hasn't killed her, and it convinces other cordyceps, when other cordyceps bite her, the other cordyceps believes that she already is infected, so it doesn't infect her. So she is infected. So how come if she gets her blood on somebody else or something like that, it doesn't make them infected? Because if the only reason why she's not getting infected is because it senses the cordyceps in her already and says, oh, she's already infected, we don't need to infect her, whereas hers just, it's the only kind that doesn't spread? Huh? Well, then if that's the case, like, this kind of goes against what I know of, which is not very much, like how mushrooms propagate. I mean, don't they reproduce pretty easily? I think that they do. So couldn't you take like a part of her and it gets into somebody else and then they're infected too? Oh, whatever. I don't go. Whatever. Again, I'm just going to tie your brain into a pretzel trying to figure out how to make sense out of this show. Defeaterator says, Joel prioritizes the one person over the world. But there's too many problems with that, because he's not prioritizing the world. He's prioritizing her over a chance at saving the world, not even a very good one. And his job as a parent is to preserve her life. He's not in charge of saving the whole world. There's too much. It's a good discussion starter. But the thing is the story is so flawed. Neither of us is going to be completely right because the writing is so bad in this story. Hockey Talk. So yeah, the question is, do you let them murder a child or do you stop the cold-blooded murder of a child? Easy choice. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think in general, the story of season 1 and that particular scenario as it is leans very, very heavily into the Joel did nothing wrong. Like so heavily that I struggle to see how anybody could look at that scenario and go, oh no, Joel did a horrible thing. He's doomed the world. The world was not going to be saved by this. Javi says, Joel would never sacrifice her. Yeah, I don't think he would. And he shouldn't, because he's the dad. The dad's job is to save the child. It is a parent's job to put their child above their own self. That's that. I don't. Why is that something that people disagree with? If it wasn't the case, people would abandon their children and go off and live their life however they want. Richard Jeffries. Here's another thing. In the show, there are mutations, stalkers, so like real biology. The cordyceps would likely overcome the cure. Probably. Eventually. It would eventually develop. But hopefully then we would be like, okay, well now what we're doing is we're developing, the next generation vaccine. Silence Game. I like your name, the Silent Game. I'm still Team Abby. Same. Just Gecko. I'm sure that the Fireflies were ready to kill Joel regardless. Yeah. They were escorting him out to the road. I mean, if they're going to... there's a lot of things there. Like, they know he wanted to protect her. He tried to get up to demand, take her to me right now. And didn't they, like, punch him or beat him or something to make him stand down? Like, no, that's not going to happen. I can't remember. I might be remembering that scene wrong. But they were going to escort him out by armed guard. Did he think that he wouldn't come back and kick their asses if they killed the kid? He was willing to fight you guys to try to get to her. So if you kill her, that's just going to make him even more upset. So yeah. Going down. Defeaterator. I legitimately don't think they ever thought about her reproducing. If they did, they made her a lesbian to avoid that possibility. The thing is, it's not an impossibility. Just because you're a lesbian doesn't mean you can't sleep with a man. Right? I mean, it's not something you want to do. It's the ultimate sacrifice for somebody. See, everybody was like, oh, the ultimate sacrifice is dying for somebody else. Like, what about sacrificing what's left of your life in service of something greater? That's a pretty big sacrifice, because then you have to live through that life that is no longer yours. And like, she wouldn't be able to find joy in having kids or something. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. Sorry, you have a baby and you fall in love immediately with it. It's in your biology to fall in love with a baby that you give birth to. Let's see. And even if you don't give birth to it, babies are designed, like humans are designed to be protective of, biologically be protective of, and want to care for a baby. That's why we like puppies and dogs with big eyes, because they resemble babies. I know it sounds ridiculous, but look it up. That is how the science works. It is in our natures to protect young, especially if they're cute and look like human babies. Pain But K. I do not know how to say your name, and I apologize for how I am butchering it. Sorry, but that's not the interpretation that I got from that okay, and this is based on the game. For me, her okay is supposed to convey nothing, an empty feeling, abrupt, just like its ending. I mean, it's open to interpretation, though. That's the thing, is everybody's allowed. Because they did not define it or follow it up, you're supposed to take any interpretation of it that you want. I think that the story leading up to it, and I'm not just talking about the conversation that they had before it, I'm talking about Ellie and Joel's entire journeys were about a girl who needs a father and needs to accept that he's her father, and a man who needs a daughter and needs to accept that he can have her as a daughter. So I don't know why that ending wouldn't mean, okay, I know that something's wrong here, but you're my dad. And that's what you do, is you accept that they will protect you from things that you don't need to know about. Let's see. Jackson. The game is terrible, and somehow they managed to make the TV show even worse. I really recommend you play the first game, the remastered version, if you want to see the true essence of these characters. I'll probably watch at least the remastered version, just because it'll look better. Not that I have anything wrong with watching older animation. I do it all the time. Well, not all the time, but I do it often enough. Mr. Moo Guy 91. Still think indirect sequels would have been far better. The world itself is a perfect vehicle to tell all types of open-ended character dramas like The Last of Us 1. Any direct sequel removes the open-endedness. This is true. That for exactly what you just said, it removes the open-endedness for one. You would have to define what that okay meant, which means that you're going to, like, what was the point then? What was the point of having it be a mystery? Like, if the whole point is we're going to get to this end and we're going to leave it open to interpretation, but then at the end you're going to say, actually, it meant this. What was the point? Some sort of a thrill that your audience can experience for a minute? Well, you just created an audience that's going to be very split now, because half of them will have a totally different interpretation of what that means. Let's see. Josh Davis says, the way I look at it, the ending of part 1 with the okay is that Ellie is saying, okay, I know you're lying to me because I think she knows that Joel's lying, but she's going to move past that and trust him. That's what that seems to me. Okay, Pharaoh G. Joel's character arc would suck if they wrote him to willingly lose another daughter. Yeah. Although I could see how you could lead up to that. The problem is that it means that he has ascended above father. Like, this is not about him becoming a father again or being able to have that chance at being a father again. This is I know I said it in one of my reviews, but God tier choice making here. This is like a biblical sort of choice. I'm sacrificing my child for the salvation of the world. Like a Jesus story. Brandon Westfall, funny you say that. That exact scene happens in the game. I don't know what I said. Richard Jeffries, and the surgeon could have just stepped back. Instead, he came at Joel with a scalpel. Anybody who tells me, like, if you think a scalpel is any kind of weapon, you're an idiot. Okay, you barehanded go and fight somebody with a scalpel. Who has the advantage? And any weapon is an advantage over no weapon. And a scalpel is a pretty deadly advantage. They are so sharp. They're as sharp as razor blades. Joel, if he did not have his gun, would have been at a disadvantage facing this guy. It's unfortunate for the doctor, although not unfortunate, because he picked up that scalpel seeing that Joel had a gun. Like, he saw he had a gun. And he picked up the scalpel anyway and said, I'm not going to let you take her. He literally declared, I'm going to fight you to the death before I let you take her. Like, I have to be dead. And so Joel just obliged, like, okay, you need to die, then you're dead. We could know that Joel was evil in killing people in that hospital if he killed the nurses, but he did not kill the nurses. He let them live. They had their hands up and backed away saying, we're not going to fight you. We will let you take the girl. And he let them live. Everybody else that he shot was trying to shoot him. So, yeah. Anyway, La Chancla said, these are new characters who were given someone else's journey. I don't know who that. I don't know who you're talking about there. Sorry. Alexis says, Joel's decision is not depicted as evil in the games. It's depicted as understandable, and his choice is meant to be relatable. Part 2 opens with Tommy validating him and saying he'd do the same. Makes sense? Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's how it is. It's not the higher choice. The higher God tier choice is, okay, you can sacrifice this child, but it's not, he didn't do anything wrong by not choosing a God level choice. Something that literally goes against human nature. Fadion says, I never got around to finish the first game, though I did make quite a bit of progress a few years ago. I don't plan on watching the show, but one day I will finish game 1 for sure. Maybe now is the time. Peerless. She was a danger to The Last of Us. She was a danger to The Last of Us. Ellie was... There's no way any community would have allowed her to continue on the way that she did. She's a pariah within the community, and you let her leave the community, and she's a danger to the people in the community. Like, she had to go. If she is the only one who survives in all of this, it's... What kind of story is this? Only the least likely to survive will survive. Three Kings Productions. Sorry, that original comment was focused on Bill, who was changed from a survivalist to a relationship focused on playing house with Frank. Oh, okay, like from the game to the show. He did start out as a survivalist, though, and he maintained the role of protector. You know what I really wanted was, and I remembered this, I don't think I mentioned it in my reviews with Randy, because we had to keep things as short as possible, and I already talked way too much in those, but I wanted Bill and Frank to have to work together to defend the place or something, and Frank is like, he's not capable at all, wants to learn, and Bill has to be like, you're just not good at this, but it's okay, I'm good enough to protect both of us. Like, I would have liked that. I think that would have been nice. Defeaterator. In the games, Ellie is the only person who was ever immune. Yeah, I do find it hard, though, to believe that all 9-month-old pregnant women who got bit, because there would have been a bunch of those, none of them delivered the baby before they turned. I just don't see that. There's got to be at least one out there. Probably somebody in, like, I don't know, China or Russia or India, but then you can take the story to those cool places. Why not? Abyss wore masks, so I don't know what that means. Is that another game? Sprezza2RA. I don't know if they've even spent enough time around where spores would be in the show's runtime. Wow, are we that far behind? I am behind again. Okay, I'm going to skip some that I don't recognize. Mr. Mugai91. The first game also establishes the Fireflies were far too flawed and disorganized to guarantee success. It was meant to be open-ended. Yeah, it definitely was. Matthew Lauren. Even the game wasn't clear on the spores, on like how long they last or like what. I'm sorry, I'm asking questions and you guys are probably 20 minutes ahead of me. What this says, oh yeah, you guys are like a half hour ahead of me. That's sad. I need to catch up. Okay. Zero Chill says in the game thematically, she becomes Joel, or this negative version of Joel we hear about but don't see. She's a vengeance monster in the game, but in the show she seems like she's on a holiday. I also had a lot of people in the comments telling me that when I say Joel never did anything wrong, I go, what are you talking? They go, what are you talking about? He did tons of bad stuff. And then they mention all these things that I'm like, that wasn't in the show. They didn't do that. And they go, well, he said he did. And I'm like, that makes no difference to anybody who's watching it. Sorry, but just telling us he did a bunch of bad stuff in this past life is not going to change how anybody perceives him. I never once saw evidence of him being a like evil killer. I saw him do horrible things, but always for a reason. He never killed somebody that wasn't trying to kill him. How is it wrong to kill somebody who's going to kill you if you don't kill them first? It's just not. Anxiety Attack Dog. I like that name. I call BS on the spore mask excuse. Pedro played as a Mandalorian. Oh, that's true. But you know what? The Mandalorian is very monotone. Like he's not, he doesn't evoke much, even with his voice in that show. Jay Garcia, Joel did nothing wrong. Druckmann consistently not allowing him to explain himself by remaining quiet while being berated several times proves this. I have to agree. There were way too many times he should have said something to defend himself. He didn't, because if he did, the audience who didn't think, oh, wait, he did nothing wrong, they would be like, oh, wait, you're right. He didn't do anything wrong. Because maybe the ones who didn't think it just didn't notice it for some reason. They were on their phones. That's why they wrote so much exposition. Richard Jeffries. The spores were usually found indoors. That's why cities were abandoned for the most part. Buildings, basements are filled with them. Okay. Josh Davis. Also, I am still of the mind that the Fireflies are not this good organization that Neil seems to try and paint them as. They are the reason for all this by not giving Ellie the choice. Yeah, they were not good. They were cowards. La Chancla. I think a lot of people are easy to blame Craig for the changes, which he is, but Neil is as much to blame for the changes that underwent. Yeah, he was in charge of the whole thing at a certain point. I'm sure that there was other people involved in like deciding what gets into the show and what doesn't. I don't know anything about HBO, but what I have been hearing is that it's a lot of different people have a say in what happens in the story, and that's just bad. That's not good. You can't have too many people doing that. All right, skipping ahead to people I have not read anything from. Clarity Golden. I don't know if I've read anything from you. Good points. I just needed to see it at least a couple of times. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have skipped so many. Demon King Kozar. They changed spores to the mycelium network and then only used it once or twice. Cutting Billstown ruins the infected. I don't know what happened in Billstown in the show, but or not the show, in the game. But yeah, we complained about that a lot in season 1. Like, what the heck? I thought that we would have this the network thing would be a bigger issue. At least they had it happen a couple times in season 2. Like, they brought that up more than once in season 2. See, don't introduce something in your world unless it's going to be used in your world. And in the case of The Last of Us, it was only used once in episode 2, right? That's the only time we saw it get used, I seem to recall. I'm not going to read that one because I have already read so many of yours, sir. I think you're a sir. Defeaterator. I'm guessing you're a guy. Let's see. Although, whenever I would do laser tag, I would pick crazy ass names like World War III Professional Assassin Number 6 or something stupid like that. I was bad at giving myself names. Conrad Truitt says, why do you think the show changed how Ellie reveals she's immune to Dina? Well, since I don't know how she does it in the game, however they did it in the game is probably better than what they actually did, because it felt so contrived. Like, this lone zombie comes running towards her, and how does Ellie stop her from biting Dina? She sticks her arm in its mouth. I mean, was she unable to grab it by its neck? I don't know. Either way, then there's the whole scene in the theater, and I don't know how you could fall asleep when you know there's a gun trained on you. But she's like, how about this? I'm going to patch up my wound, and then I'm going to take a nap. And then you'll see that I don't change. Like, I don't know. It seems weird. I like that she almost got shot when she sat up because there was water dripping on her head. And then we never saw any evidence of leaks in that area. Like, the inside of the theater seems to be pretty well intact, but apparently there's a leak, which means that every time it has rained in Seattle, which is many times, there should be tons of stuff, like probably black mold growing inside that thing. Anyway, I like cheese. I've definitely read something from you before, but I'll read this. Hi, got late, sadly. That's fine. It happens. Richard K, just saying my name. Hey. Sword and pen. Going down. I've read some of these before. Don't think I've read anything from Alan Doe. You can see more emotion in the updated version. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I'm probably going to watch the updated version anyway. So, Danny May. I think I may have read something from you, but let's read this too. The point was she was lied to, and they didn't give her that ultimatum that it would kill her. She still had a lot to live for. The cure wouldn't fix the world. People would still die. That is true. That is true. And yeah, that's true. But what... I don't know why that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. It's like, oh, Spreza, I've done many from you. I'm skipping you. Sorry. DLJ2. So if we assume bad writing and the intent was Joel is making a choice between a cure and Ellie's life, what cure probability percentage? 150 would make the Firefly's actions more excusable. I mean, 100% for sure. But the higher there is no like, oh, it is excusable. It's not all the way up to 100%. To kill somebody, to choose they get to die so that we all get to live, is never not a bad choice. It's always going to be a bad thing. You don't have the right to tell somebody else you get to die, but you will have accepted that guilt and said, okay, this is the choice we're making. It's evil, but it is an evil that we have to do. It's still not good. It doesn't make it like, oh yeah, this is the good thing. Apply this thinking to the sinking ship. Do you lock or the? I don't know why, but whenever I think of the scenario, I think of Star Trek. Like somebody is in some deck and there's a breach and they have to seal off the deck to save everybody else in the ship. That was not a good choice. It was just the only choice that they could make to save the whole. Doesn't make it the right choice. Let's see. Hockey Talk, I've definitely talked to you before. All right. Ed Legends, I don't think I've read anything from you. In my opinion, they totally butchered the aftermath of Nora's death scene in the show. Also, how did Ellie got her back injuries in the show? She haven't done anything to be in that shape. That's so stupid. Especially, I think I saw, because I've started watching some of the reviews. By the way, there's somebody named Altaori or Altori who has some hilarious reviews. Definitely some vulgar language and stuff in her reviews, but they were cracking me up. But I think it was one of hers, or maybe it wasn't, mentions, why is her face not all jacked up? Like, what they only go for her torso, I guess. Okay. I mean, whatever. At a certain point, you just have to shrug and go, okay. Going down. Kurt Feudale? Sword in the Pen Reflections. My belief is that Neil became ideologically captured after his perception that many of his fans weren't okay with LGBTQ themes after small criticisms of the DLC. But season 2 had a lot of LGBTQ LGBTQ. Oh, you're saying like he didn't like that they weren't okay with that stuff. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about what the chatter was after the first game. I did hear though that you only knew about Bill and Frank being in a relationship because of like a letter or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the discussion was. Hockey Talk. I've definitely read from you. Skipping you. Sorry. Renee Garcia. Part 2 of The Last of Us is exactly the same as Alien 3 to Aliens. Really? How so? Just not great. I don't know. Okay. Going down. Hollow or Holo. If Ellie had ever been given the ultimatum, she would have agreed to it, even if it wasn't a guarantee that the cure would work, without a doubt. How do we know? They didn't ask her. Anytime she was faced with possible death, she tried to survive. So we know that she wants to live, but we didn't see her ever saying, I want to die if that means everybody gets to live. Did that come up? I don't recall that coming up ever. It's never I don't think it should ever be, and I don't think it ever will be, portrayed in storytelling as a good thing for one character to make a choice on somebody else's behalf for them. Like, you are going to do this and you didn't consult that person. I don't think that's ever going to be portrayed as a good thing, especially if it means like their life is over or it's altering their life in some major way. That's just not ever, because it's not something that, unless you come from like a society where like slavery is acceptable. But if you come from a free society where the individual has rights, like the right to choose to do what you want to with your own life, then that means that other people are not allowed to make those decisions over you, right? Hockey Talk. When you talk about death, by the way, like that, it's always good to take your arguments, your moral dilemma arguments, and take them to the extreme and see how that affects the outcome. Not saying that always proves what it should be, but do it and think about it, and it usually reveals some things. If somebody is choosing you are going to die, and I don't think that's, when you don't get a choice in the matter, that's never a good choice. Even in battle. Hockey Talk. I keep clicking on you. You keep sneaking under my mouse clicker for some reason. So they didn't stop Joel from performing CPR on Ellie. They didn't stop Joel from performing CPR on Ellie? Did he do that in season 1 after she got knocked out? I can't remember. Okay, we're going to keep going. We are past the 2-hour mark, so we're going to go just a little bit longer. I'm going to try to catch up to everybody. Actually, I'm going to skip everybody and go down to the most recent comments because I don't think I'm caught up yet. Yeah, I'm a half hour behind. All right, I'm now caught up, but I'm going to go back just a little bit here. Actually, I have to do some thank yous. Yes, I do. Got Raider Camus. Ellie thank you for $20. Ellie in the game seems to have survivor's guilt. She was upset that she didn't die, even though I agree the Fireflies seemed incompetent and I never thought they had it. Wait, I've already read this. I think I've already read this one. How do you tell which ones you've already clicked on? I'm sorry, I'm new to this thing. I think I've clicked on that one. Did I do this one? James Moore. Why would Ellie ever want to save the Scar kid? Wait. Okay, I definitely didn't do that one. Okay, this one I have not done. James Moore, $5. First of all, thank you for the $5. Second, show criticism. Why would Ellie ever want to save the Scar kid when the literal night before the Scars shot an arrow into a pregnant Dina's leg? Good point. But my biggest problem though with that simply was that there was no way she was going to survive. Her and her pistol against 6 men with semi-automatic rifles. Those what they were high power rifles. No way. As she's shooting one, another one's going to shoot her and she's dead. That's how that works. she would not have saved him. And then Dina would be dead. And then Tommy would be dead. And then probably Jesse too, because they would then go search the rest of the garage. Where did this girl come from? And, assuming he didn't go with her. So she was going to go and die for nothing. That's what that was going to be. It kind of sounds like she didn't really want to sacrifice her life for other people. Just saying. She wanted to die and not save anybody. She wanted everybody else to die too. We all have to die. Let's see. Sprezza 2RA, $10. Thank you very much. Still processing how sad it is that my favorite producer... How did that... I definitely didn't read this one, but I've definitely read this one from Sprezza. How does that... What? How does that happen? Okay. I hope I'm not missing some super chats. Let me go back really quick. No, don't think so. I definitely read that one. I think I have to star them. So star here, star here, star here, star here. What the heck? The stars do nothing. The stars are meaningless, apparently. Oh my gosh, this is... Oh, you click the star and it disappears? No way. Okay, if I don't read your super chat, I will find it and I will respond to you in the comment of the video. But like in the, after it uploads, because after I upload, I can't comment in the live chat. I have to comment under the video itself, but I don't mean to not read super chats. I'm so confused. What is going on? Okay, so Sprezza, I thought I have read this. I thought I read this. I'm 100% sure I read this. But thank you. Thank you for the $10. We're going to move to the next guy. Matt Getz, $10. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry if there's anybody I have clicked off, but thank you, Matt Getz. The show is thematically bankrupt. It's The Last of Us. Imperfect people doing and saying imperfect things. It creates beautifully moral or gray moral and emotional circumstances ripe for discussion. It should. Unfortunately, it seems to be wanting to try to say certain things that are debatable. And then things that are debatable, they're saying we're certain. It's all over the place. The show is thematically bankrupt. Yeah, that's a good statement. Seabeth, $2. Thank you so much. How much is it to hire you as an editor? So my rates are tailored to your writing style. So you send me your stuff, I read it, and then I give you the, this is how much I am per word count. And I base that off of how quickly I can get through your word count and the kind of notes that I have to make. So if there's a lot of problems and you definitely want to hire me, it'll take me longer to get through the words. So my rate of words per hour is much bigger because I can't get through as much, if that makes sense. I charge by the hour, basically is what I'm saying. I charge by the word count, but I base my rate on word count on how quickly I can get through a certain number of words in a test run of your work. So you send me the first straight narrative chapter. If you have a prologue, I don't want that. I mean, I will eventually, but I don't want it for the test read. So I want the first straight narrative chapter where you have your main character and this is how most of the story is going to be. And I will read that, typically a couple thousand words, maybe like between 2 and 4, however many. But from that, I can typically figure out how long it's going to take me to get through the whole of the work. And then I go, okay, it takes me about 4,200 words per hour. So if this work is 42,000 words, which is a small novel, by the way, then it's going to be about, well, I just give, that's how I do it. Does that make sense? I think that's how I think I was clear. You send me your work, you contact me via email. Emails are in the description. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, we've got a visitor. The doorbell rang and it's distracted me. Rodel Iturralde. I hope I said that right. I know I've struggled with your name before. $5. Thank you very much. Does a copyright claim take away your CSC too? I sent one last stream, but don't see it. Maybe sent too late. Do you still get it if sent after the stream. No, I get them on the video stream. So if you send money, oh, you mean like to the video? No. If you send like a super chat to a video that has been claimed, I still get that money. That doesn't get taken. So you're okay there. I think that they know if they try to take that, they would get in very big trouble because it's clearly not something they're giving to the video. They are giving it to the creator. So no, that's safe. Somebody, are you talking about my most recent video, the finale? Because I have a note in my phone. I have to put notes in my phone because I'm old. That I need to double check my super chats there because I think there was one that I noticed, but I was on the road or something, and so I didn't get to respond to it right away. But I will make sure don't worry, I will respond to you. I've got the note in my phone, so that's probably you. If it was you, thank you very much. But no, I got it. I did get it. Carbon Freon, $2. Thank you so much. I like how you've spelt your Freon. Like, good job there. I like playing with words, pronunciation, and spelling in names and things. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. Let's see. Rodell Ituralde. No way in Earth you're Gen X, maybe millennial, maybe. I'm old. My parents are baby faces. I'm in my mid 40s, so I look a lot younger than I am. But let's see. Yeah, I usually surprise people when I tell them how old I really am. Jeffrey Moore, $10. Like your reviews. Well, thank you very much, Jeffrey Moore. I like your profile picture. It looks, is that from Life of Pi or is it just a cool tiger? It looks a little bit like Life of Pi. Carbon Freon, another one. Thank you. In the game, you find audio recordings of fireflies finding other immune people and not being able to make a cure. Is that real? Okay, no, wait. I think I've heard something like this and somebody saying it was an urban legend, but does somebody have proof of that? I would be curious to see if somebody's got video proof of that. Devastator. Nice. I don't know what ARS is. I have to look that up because I want to know where you guys are from. What currency is ARS? Argentine peso. Thank you. From Argentina. So I've had 2 people at least from Argentina. I've only ever met one person from Argentina, and I've dated him. He was a pilot. It was so romantic. It actually was. It was funny. But okay, let me read your comment here. Wow, I just got really distracted, didn't I? I really hate that in the first season, they left it vague whether Joel did the right thing or not, which he did do the right thing, but Neil hated that. And in the second, he made sure to treat him like a monster. Oh my gosh, I just noticed you gave me 200 the Argentine pesos. I don't know how much that is. Is that a lot? It looks like a lot to me. So thank you very, very much. A peso exchange, I think, isn't that like 100 to 1 here? I'm not sure. Either way, thank you. Thank you very much. Where did my stream go? I'm on YouTube for some reason now. Oh, there it is. StreamYard. Okay. I really hate that in the first. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know why even it's sort of up in the open. Did he do something right or wrong? To me, it was quite obvious that the Fireflies were in the wrong, that they had a very low chance of probability. They tricked her. That's the biggest thing, is that they concealed the choice from her. And I didn't think that they were going to use it for the right reasons anyway, even if they could produce something. It was too flawed, way too flawed. They definitely should have tried to put in some certainties in there and then decided how they were going to make it vague, but they had too many vagaries in there. And so it's mostly like, you know what, we're going to kill your daughter and then flip this coin or roll this dice. Hopefully it lands on a 2, because if a 2 happens, then we get a cure. Like, that's not a reason to kill somebody. That's basically, that is basically what it was. Anyway, is it storming outside? Oh, no, just a crazy looking sunset. Okay. Let's see. Anybody out there in Phoenix right now? It was nice and hot today, wasn't it? Andre MR. What is an MX? MX. What currency is, wait, is it MX? MXS is MXS. I'm starting to get tired. A Mexican peso. Okay. Everybody's paying me in pesos. Well, thank you. I love the food from Mexico, by the way. Being close to the border, we get a lot of it over here. When I played the second game, I really wished I hadn't because it ruined characters I loved and wished it never existed. But at least the gameplay was fun and the show was all pain. The show was all pain. Changing, I think I said this earlier in this stream, but changing your characters off page or even changing what you plan to do with them, it's not a good idea. You created two characters that we were rooting for. We were supposed to root for them and love them all the way to the end. We wanted them to be together. That's because you like these characters and you enjoy their dynamic. You were literally creating an ending that was, you will get to see the two characters you want to be together. Like, that is where this was going. And then in the end, it's like, nope, they're apart now. And then you've got Ellie going on this revenge quest, and it's about her being destructive. And I don't even know what the theme is. Either way, their first theme is so contradictory to the first theme. It insults everything that happened in the first. Why would you create characters for us to love and root for them to be together, only to later say, actually, it didn't work out? This is another example of there being way too many problems. Like, you bring up one problem and you say, well, they could do this, but you can't say that because that's not going to fix all the problems. There's way too many. But changing the theme or the direction of a character too dramatically, or having one counter the other, the way that they are doing this, the way that they seem to be doing this, because I really can't tell you what the theme is. It's hard for me to even tell. It's never a good idea. To think that that can be done and it'll have a broad audience that will like it is delusional. There's a reason why most people don't read literature, like the kind of literary canon that you have to read in college, which I had to read. It's not enjoyable. It's written to be provocative or to exemplify a particular theme or be like vague or make you angry and do weird things like this. But the majority of people do not enjoy that. It is art. It's like modern art. So however big your audience is for modern art, that's how big it's going to be for your story. That's what it is. Let's see. Rodell Itralde, $5. Thank you. You've been given a lot. If y'all want a killer post-apocalyptic read or listen, check out Going Home by A. American. Oh, that's funny. LOL, yeah, that is funny. Solid survival, great series, highly recommend. I was recommended Carl's Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I've listened to like the first 10 chapters, and it is funny so far. It's not as funny as the Iron Druid Chronicles, but I'm only 10 chapters in. I expect it to get funnier because the cat has started doing its thing. So I'm interested in that. Thank you very much, Rodell Itralde, and good recommend. I've never heard of A. American. I'll have to check that out. I want to see if that's a nom de plume. Save yourself. $10. Thank you. And they're $8. Why do I not know what an $1 is? What is a money? Doesn't say. That's great. Oh. And then when I type in what currency is A, it says nothing. I'm sorry, I don't know what currency that is, but thank you very much. Let's see what your comment says. I can't see it because it's hiding. There we go. I don't like the second game's theme. Revenge, nihilism, cycle of violence, but the Kraftwerk script voice acting is all miles better than the show. You can tell a story about nihilism that works. It's not going to be popular, though, especially when your first story was so much about hope. So much. the hope that Ellie would get a parent who loves her, the hope that Joel would have a second chance at being a father. It's not going to be liked. Yeah. But it can be done. It just most likely, it won't have a very broad audience. Let's see. Rodel Iturralde again. $2. Any chance you'll review Andor? I have been trying to beg my family to watch it because it's one that, see, my brother-in-law likes Star Wars, and I like watching shows with people because I have to do stuff like this by myself all the time. Like, I mean, when you edit manuscripts, you're by yourself. Actually, I have one client right now who I'm doing coaching with, where I read it on my own, but then we also meet, well, not meet in person, but Zoom and talk over the phone and discuss the chapters. And that's the most interaction I get with people is that. And then I'm watching these videos or these shows by myself, and then recording by myself. And then I'm in my studio. Well, not my studio, it's my bedroom. This is my bedroom. This is a 3-fold thing. I got it off of Amazon Marketplace for like $100. It's nice, from World Market. I love this thing. But spend a lot of time alone working by myself doing nothing. And so if I'm going to watch a show like Andor, which I know that my brother-in-law and probably my family will enjoy, because I have seen some of the reviews that it's like really good, that the second season is not just good Star Wars, but like good television. Like, I should be really enjoying this. And I went and I watched the first episode or two. I think it was 2. I watched at least the first episode, and I was like, holy crap, I didn't even watch all the way through this before, and I can already tell this is brilliant, like way better than any, like this, I don't believe was produced by Disney. So I could see this on old HBO, except without sex, which is kind of nice because I can watch it with the family. Like, everybody can watch it. It's really awkward to watch stuff with kids in the room that has that stuff going on. You don't watch it with kids in the room. That's what you don't do. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, I think I probably will. I'm looking at, what is it? Murderbot. I'm checking that out. I really want to keep watching Silo. I've seen a few episodes of Silo. I really want to watch Andor, but I want to watch with my brother-in-law, at least my brother-in-law, but the rest of my family would be cool too if they would. So that's the plan there. But yes. All right. Going back to the live chat, and I'm going to the bottom. Yep. All right. We are going to close this out, but I'm going to read for 5 more minutes. How's that? 5 more minutes and we'll do it. Let's see. We'll start with, who's this one? Potato Whiz. Oh, actually, no. We'll start with this person whose name I have not seen in the comments yet. Cosmic Jester. You can tell by the color of the super chats what range of monetary amount they fall within. What colors mean what? I need to figure it out. I may have to do a tutorial on StreamYard. I only used OBS before, and that was, yeah. I still like OBS, but people like to use this when you do stuff with other people. Let's see. Potato Whiz says, it's like if they made a sequel to Shawshank where Red and Andy have a falling out and turn on each other because it's real and life is pain and suffering. Like, leave a good story alone, man. Yes, that is exactly what that would be like. Good example. Great example. Oh, what a great movie, Shawshank. Every once in a while that cycles through our household, maybe once every 3 or 4 years. And it's always one that everybody sits down and enjoys. We have some others that are through more frequently, like Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago. Those get played every year for sure. Sometimes more than once. Mr. Bazbake. The first game is a nihilist tragedy disguised as a heroic adventure. The second game is a heroic adventure disguised as a nihilist fantasy. Neither one makes sense until you get to the ending of part 2. Okay, so maybe I'll get to the end of part 2 and stuff will make more sense, because right now we're only halfway through part 2, or a third of the way through, because I was corrected. It's not Ellie's perspective and then Abby's perspective. Apparently it's Ellie, Abby, and then Ellie again. I don't know. Do they end up together? That'd be weird. That, I think, was something that Altori was kind of wondering, like, do the two of them end up together? And I was kind of wondering, like, I don't know, but maybe they do. That would be interesting. I don't believe it. There's no way they could pull that off believably. Ooh, okay. Squickworks. It's almost like Squidward. Just joining here, so forgive me if this has been asked. Do you plan to play the games now that you've seen the series? Have thoroughly enjoyed your analysis this season? Yes. And I think that with this, I've decided I'm going to watch game 1 and do like maybe 1 or 2 videos on it. But then for game 2, I'm going to watch it and break it up into like at least 4 videos, maybe 5, depending on how long the whole is that I use, because some people have said, well, there's a 4-hour version and there's an 8-hour version, there's a 15-hour version. I don't want to do the 15-hour version. If there's a shorter version that I can do, that's not, obviously the 2 or 4-hour version is not going to be good. I don't want that one, but I want the one that's good and has just about everything that I need in order to understand the nuances, because if you're just getting the cutscenes, it sounds like you miss a lot. Excuse me. I need to go eat food too. I have not eaten dinner. And it is 7:30. Amanda, I'm 45 now and know the sweet ones always give you a toothache. There is tea behind that smile. Miss Amber, you should write that romantic story. Oh, the pilot, actually he was the instructor's instructor. So I got to play being the student to his students who were training to be instructors. I got so many flying hours and it was really fun. Like I actually know how to fly a plane. I just don't have my license, but no, I don't really know how to fly. I know how to do a few maneuvers. I can come out of a spin. That's terrifying, but he was a good teacher. So his students were all good teachers too. Oiled up fat man. Nihilistic themes are hard to pull off outside of the horror or comedy genres, and you have to go all in on either genre. It has to be all nihilistic horror comedy or no genre at all. I will agree. I wouldn't say that it's impossible to go outside of those boundaries, but because you never know, somebody could be brilliant and like pull off, look, I did it. Just like the whole cutting the baby out of Mel's stomach. I would struggle to see how you could do that. And it's like, okay, but I could imagine a really competent writer could make it work, or make it work that Ellie still can't do it and it still works somehow. It just didn't work the way it was done. And I would like to see a competent writer do it. So I think there's always the possibility that somebody can break the rules and make it work. People used to think that breaking the fourth wall wouldn't work, but it works in a lot of different scenarios, apparently. NYT night. I get that. Been listening with my phone in my pocket. Lived in Maricopa County for 15 years. Don't miss monsoon season. That's the best season. Have you guys ever heard that song Africa by Toto? The one that goes, I bless the rains down in Africa. That one. That is how I feel during monsoon season. And I play that song if I'm driving anywhere in monsoon season. Like, to me, I'm just like, this is what I live for. I love it. The rain in the desert is just, there's something glorious about it. It is so good. If you've never experienced rain, like a heavy, thick thunder and lightning rain in the desert, it is one of the greatest feelings ever. That's all I'll say about that. Richard Jeffries. I like OBS. Have you ever seen that video of the kid at the fair and he's had a turtle painted on his face and the reporter's like talking and then passes the microphone over and she goes, so what is your face painted on? How are you having fun here? And he goes, I like turtles. I just love it. He obviously got nervous and just all he could say was, I like turtles. I guess you can, there's an updated video of him now. He's like a full-grown adult and he does the whole, I like turtles. It's cute. Save yourself. Sword in the Pen Reflections. $1 equals Australian, usually AUD. Got it. Thank you. Now I know. Crossfire says, super chat color codes. Oh, thank you. Blue is 2 to 5, yellow 10, orange 20, pink 50, red 100. Okay, good to know. I will know from now on. Did I get everybody's super chat? If I didn't, do a at the Sword in the Pen Reflections. I thought because I've read everything as far as I can see in this thing, but I don't know if I actually read them all, because I can't tell how you're supposed to have read them all. Like there's no, I thought you're supposed to click the stars, but apparently that makes them disappear. I don't know. All right, still reading. I'm going to go down a little bit. Alindra MR, the second game is long. It sounds like it. It sounds like it's almost twice as long. Well, they got 3 different stories going on. So, I mean, you know, when it's sort of like I like epic fantasy, but it's typically got a lot of different phases of the story in the big chonker stories. Like the Name of the Wind, the second Name of the Wind is like twice as long as the first one. What is the second one called? The Wise Man's Fear, or A Wise Man's Fears. The first book is fat, but the second book is like twice as big as the first book. Very, very big, but there's phases to his journeys. There's like he's in school, now he's over in the city, I forget the name of it, with the mayor, and then now he's hunting the bad guys with these guys, and now he's in this other country doing these things. So it's broken up in phases like that. So it tends to feel less like it's long if you break it up like that. I know a lot of people don't like The Name of the Wind. I can read it just for the pleasure of it. I literally do not need the end of that story to still love it. I think that we don't have to talk about Patrick Rothfuss and what he's going through, but I do love his writing. I think he's a brilliant writer. I wish he would finish his story, but I don't think he will. Gyan Sabo, or Jian, I'm not sure how to say that. Do you think they made Ellie so unlikable on purpose? I think that you know what? I'm just going to say this. There's no way that they made her that unlikable and it wasn't intentional. There are too many things that she did that were insanely selfish and stupid, and that's not likable. It's almost like they went out of their way to have her choose the most selfish thing that you could do, or to have her choose to do something that was stupid. It's like the moments that were less unlikable, she was more stupid. Like when she was being all flirty with Dina and like, you can do the map. You'll find a way for us to go and get to the WLFs. So what, you're just incompetent at planning an infiltration? And then there was the thing with the tank. Like they tried to pass it off as cute and funny, but that is only cute or funny if your character is actually likable everywhere else. Oh gosh, is this bad? Yeah, it seems intentional to me. To me, it does seem intentional because I can't see how you could be so blind in the choices you're having your characters make. Gritter plays twice. Actually, in the first game, if you thoroughly explore all of the offices in the hospital, you will find proof that Ellie was not the only immune person. There were others Doctor operated on but failed. Maybe the show will try to establish what happened, like, oh, yes, there were, or no, there were not. In which case, if there were and they failed all those other times, why do they think that killing her this time will be, I don't know. I think I gave a probable, like, they could have done this, where they did have others and it was working, but then the others got killed in like an accident and they just needed one more operation and they would have had the cure for sure. And then they've discovered Ellie. Like that I could believe. But then the ticking clock thing is like, why do you need a ticking clock? Like, why do you have to kill her so soon? Megan Kirkland, have you watched any of the behind the scenes where Neil and Craig talk? No, none of that. About their thought process on their decisions in the show. Can't wait to see a reaction to the rest of Game 2 story. Have not seen any of that. Maybe I should go watch those. I Like Cheese says the game is around 20 hours, but most of it is filler, shooting and stuff. Okay, if somebody could get that, but like take out all the shooting, or like just show the shooting happening, but speed it through really fast, I could do that. Alexis, watch somebody play the game with commentary if you want to get the full game experience without getting drained. It'll go by faster. Oh, it's good to know. You know, having somebody else's commentary. Yeah, I could see how that would fill in the whole, like the spaces. Richard Jeffries, what can you do with the baby? There's no incubator. Ellie couldn't breastfeed. Is there formula nearby? Well, some premature babies don't need an incubator if it's far enough along. So as far as everything else, I mean, she could have at least tried. But, you know, there has actually been documented cases where women have started lactating in survival situations. It's bizarre. Look it up. It's almost like their body just knows, I need to do this now. It's a weird thing. Maybe it has something to do with the way a baby's head smells. I know this sounds bizarre, but I was talking to a gal who worked in prenatal or something like that, and she was telling me that there are oils that an infant's head scalp releases in the first month of after birth that are highly addictive or cause your body to react as if it is being exposed to something highly addictive. And this is why like it's built that way so that you will want to spend as much time with your baby as possible, which you won't if it's crying all the time, which my niece was. That's why we all moved in together. It was like, this baby needs a lot of attention and it's not going to work there's no way less than 4 adults would have been able to take care of this baby. I don't know how single mothers do it with a baby that cries literally every second of the day and night. That's what it was. We need to have more like nurses that will stay with you and watch the baby at night for 8 hours so that the parents can get sleep. That would be awesome. Anyway, okay, gotta keep going. What are we doing? I'm getting distracted. Okay, scrolling down. I said 5 minutes about 15 minutes ago. We're going to do 5 more messages, no matter who they're from. Here we go. And they will be the next 5. So the first one, save yourself. Sword in the Pen Reflections. Craig Mazin has openly admitted that he pitched Ellie as inferior to Abby. Quote, and Abby seemingly is not like Ellie in that Abby is incredibly competent. Well, you don't make somebody seem competent by having everybody around them incompetent. That just makes them more competent than somebody who's incompetent. It doesn't work that way. That's a bad choice, bad writing choice on his part, if that's what's really true. Number 2. Kaiwan Calendar says, color coat technique, color green coat and white to season 2 of The Last of Us is pretty darn good. Color coat technique, color green coat and white season. What? I don't know what the heck you're saying. It's pretty darn good. Okay, I'm gonna take that one back. I'm sorry, I didn't know what that said. I'll go backwards and find somebody. Bandicoot's Rule says the 7-hour The Last of Us Part 2 cutscenes movie is probably best to watch. There's a lot of in-game dialogue that's important, and it skips the shooting filler in the game interactions that aren't cutscenes. Can you copy and paste a link to that in the comments? If you do it in the live comments, I won't be able to access it for like 48 hours or something. They don't let me access the live chat for a while. I don't know what it is. I don't know how long it's at least a day, maybe 2. Okay, another one. Lost and Found. Hey, been lurking most of the stream. Love your content and looking forward to seeing you react to the games also. Nice. Thank you for lurking. I don't know how many viewers we've had. I never know how to find how many people are watching. Oh, here we go. We got like 23 people watching. 203 people. That's a lot of people. Hi. That's a lot more people than I thought. I figured it'd be like maybe 40. Well, hello. Let's see. Another one. Oiled Up Fat Man says, is that Chris Farley in your profile picture? Nice. It's just bad writing. Ellie is unlikable because of terrible, idiotic, unskilled writing. Yeah, I have to agree. There's no way there's no way some of those scenes should have been filmed. It's that deep a level of bad writing. It's very unfortunate. All right, I've already read from Mr. Bazbake, haven't I? No, Save Yourself. I already read from Save Yourself. Mr. Bazbake says, so they knew someone with Ellie's immunity would show up and have XYZ traits. People think this means they found other people with those traits. I don't really see how that means. I guess I need to know more about what that statement means. What is going on here? Why does it say R.I.P. Sir and then R.I.P. the goat? Did I like click off of the goat or something? I hope I didn't. If I did, I'm so sorry. Let's let's see. Crossfire says, oh yeah, oiled up fat man is Chris Farley from the SNL Chippendale sketch with Patrick Swayze. Classic. Just like the van down by the river. Hero Neo says, I think there's a way I can fix the story, keeping Joel's leave easier and without that much hate for Abby, but I can't fix how stupid Ellie is. There's too much. You can't just fix one thing to fix the whole. It's got to be a totally different story for it to work. It's trying to force, I think, first, like, specific moments. Like, we want this to happen, and this to happen, and this to happen. And they tried to stitch it together and make it work, but it doesn't really work, unfortunately. Sometimes you can't stick everything in there that you want. You know what you do? You write that idea down on a piece of paper, and you stick it in a file. And then after you're done telling a great story, you come back to that file and you go, oh, wow, this idea, that would be a really great thing to do. How could I put this in another story? Or that inspires you to write a whole new story. Let's see. 2 more. I know I keep doing less and less. Here we go. The immune people that they found in the game were infected people they experimented on. They weren't immune. Oh, well, that changes things then. That's not the same. I mean, that's not the same as immune people. So Garsh is saying, I was saying rest in peace to the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Farley. Oh, I get it. Okay. All right. Last one. Ready? Eric Vaughn, you're the last comment. Everybody else, it's done. The story in the games does well, way better than the show. Yes, I know many people hated the fact that you, as Ellie, kill Abby. You kill Abby at the end of the game? Don't give me spoilers, dude. Okay, what? If she's supposed to be more competent, how did she? Oh, whatever. Anyway, no spoilers, guys. No spoilers. I didn't read the rest of that comment, whatever it was. So I'm reading this one here. Hero Neo. I think there's a way. Oh, no, I already read that. Okay, I'm randomly picking one other one from up here. I don't want any spoilers. How about... Trying to find one comment from somebody I haven't read something before. Too many. All right, I'm going down again. You know what? No more comments. That's it. No more. All right. I'm done. I'm done. How do I get rid of this comment that's highlighted now? How do I do that? There we go. Okay. That is it, folks. It's been a good 2 hours and 46 minutes, but I think that was a good talk. What I plan to do now is I'm going to watch game 1. I will look through the links that you guys send me. I will look through some that I know my Discord has, and whichever one I think looks like it's going to be the most doable, but also seems to have the right amount of information in it. That's when I will watch, and then I will comment on that, maybe a couple of videos. And then I will do the same thing for the second, but I will actually react to it in smaller blocks because I think that there's going to be probably more people interested in seeing that than reaction to season 1 or game 1. So that is it, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Again, thank you to everyone who sent me a super chat. And if I did not say thank you to you, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do this. I'm doing my best. But I think I said thank you to everybody. I did my best. That's all I can say. But everyone, stay cool and be good to yourself. How do I do this?
Please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It's a free way for you to support this channel. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, or hit the Money Heart Thanks button down below. You can become a subscriber or leave me a one-time tip. Anything is much appreciated. Be good to yourself.